Press pause, put the controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo.
And I am still Andrew. That hasn't changed.
Nope. And this is episode 9. I remembered this time.
Hooray.
Of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. How are you, my friend?
I'm alright.
Yep. Good week?
Yeah. I'm waiting to hear the story that you decided to save for the show.
Okay. So, Andrew was asking about how often I use, where's my PlayStation 5's disk drive. And the answer is I've never used it. I don't think I've never used it. Actually, no, that's not true. Originally, I wanted the digital-only version because I was just going full digital at this point. I was like, I have no space left for games. And it's just more convenient to be able to download them. As much as I am a pro, keep your product yours, keep the physical products around.
Yeah, my question is, what happens when you want to play one of those PS4 games on it, and then you're like, oh yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, so it will work. The PS4 games will work, and that's actually the only reason I've used it so far is some of the games I own on PS4 got PS5 upgrades, but you need the disc in order to get the upgrade.
That's weird.
Because you own the physical version, so it doesn't let you download the PS5. I mean, it lets you download the PS5 version, but the disc has to be in the system in order for it to allow you to play it, basically. It is a little weird. I don't understand why they do the things they do. But anyway, the story was I was originally going to get the digital only version of the PS5 because I thought it was really cool, and it was cheaper, and I really don't need the disc drive. But they were sold out everywhere. I'm a little suspicious that Sony made, as far as how many they made, I feel like it's a low number, at least in the early days, because I never saw one on the shelf. But I went with the physical version because I just was tired of waiting. But the story is actually about the Xbox. So I have the Xbox Series X. You can't see it in the background because it's in my entertainment center in the low part below the TV. But I may have got that for free.
Oh.
When they launched, I tried to get one day one, like a lot of people did. And so I was one of those guys that was on Best Buy's website, Amazon's website, trying to be ready to
hit the button
when they go live, right?
Yeah.
So it worked for the PlayStation. I don't think it was day one. I think it was the second wave that came a week later. But I was able to get the PlayStation 5. But I was also thinking about getting the Series X because Game Pass was really attractive to me. PS Plus wasn't a thing, back then. There wasn't a game catalog anyway. So I had the PS5 already, and I had the Xbox Series X in my cart on Best Buy's website. I think it was Best Buy. It was either Best Buy or Amazon. And at the last second, I was like, do I really need an Xbox?
You don't need anything.
Yeah, I don't need it. So I was like, eh. And I just left it in there, and I went away. And then 5 days later, this box shows up on my doorstep. I'm like, that's a big box. And then I picked it up, and it was pretty hefty. And I was like, that's weird. I didn't order anything. And then I opened up the top of the box, and I saw the X logo. And I was like, that's weird.
Didn't I remove that from my cart?
I didn't even register with me that it may be the Series X. I thought it was like it was a neighbor's package or something. So I turned it over and was like, is it my name? Yeah, it's my name. I'm like, okay. So I opened it up further, and I'm like, and that's when I kind of clued in when I saw the side of the box. It wasn't great branding, by the way. The outside of the box was I still wasn't sure what it was. I knew it was Xbox something, but I wasn't really sure what it was. And then as I opened it, and the inside packaging was phenomenal, by the way. Very, very Apple-y in its execution. But I opened it up and saw the Xbox Series X, and I was like, how did this happen? They must have charged me. So I went and checked my credit card. Nope.
Oh, you're just like, oh, okay.
I was like,
okay.
I mean,
fair enough.
Who do I message at Best Buy and say, you guys sent me an Xbox and you didn't charge me?
They'd probably have to work through their lunch break to get that taken care of. You just,
right?
It's no big deal.
It's mine. so I kept it, and
that's fine.
I thought it was funny.
That is funny.
I took pictures of me opening the box because I was like so in shock. I was like, what is this? A free Xbox. It's it's one thing if it says Series S, because then it's like, all right, cool. I
Yeah,
got a
okay.
free Series S, but this is like the
The
top
premium
tier.
one.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool. So yeah, and at the time it was funny because at the time they had the Game Pass deal where you pay $1 for 3 months. So I got
So you literally bought that for $1.
I got 3 months of Game Pass for $1.
Right. That sounds like a
Hey,
good deal.
I deserve it after being a diehard gamer for 30 years, man. If anyone deserves it, no, I'm just kidding. I thought it was funny though,
It is.
but rather interesting. What have you been playing, sir? Anything
What have
new?
I been playing? Well, I finished up that Doom expansion, the old school Doom expansion.
Mhm.
It was broken up into 2 parts, first half and
Mhm.
second half. They were listed as like separate episodes in the game. And I gotta say, I didn't like the second half nearly as much. The
Yeah.
first level, it was a neat idea, but it wasn't executed very well. It wanted you to fight like way too many enemies for the amount of ammo that they give you.
Right.
And because the way that it works in Doom, when you start a new episode, you're starting from scratch. So you start with a pistol
Oh
and
yeah, that's
like
right. Yeah,
like 40 bullets or whatever. So 40 or 50 rounds, something like that. So
yeah.
yeah, it was not a great start. It did get better. But then the last level was truly bizarre, to the point that I almost wonder if there was a bug with it. So to
Mm.
to to clarify a little bit, I was not playing this through the new version of the game. I was playing this through GZ Doom, where I just plug in the resource files, the WAD files, and I can just play them in GZ Doom, which is my preference because I just like the greater customization that it offers. I am not actually sure exactly how compatible GZ Doom is with the new episode. It's it felt fine, but it is possible that maybe there was a bug. But anyway, the last level puts you up against 50. There's two new, well, one new monster, one kind of reskin of an old monster. There's this big new monster called the Visago, which throws fireballs. They hit the ground and they leave a puddle of fire for a few seconds. And then there's the Tyrant, which is just a cyber demon that's green and has like a quarter of the health. This last level puts you up against about 50 Visagos in a very enclosed space, and then 50 Tyrants in a slightly less enclosed space. And there just isn't the room to move around, and with how many pools of fire will be on the ground, I can't think of how you're supposed to survive that. Like I genuinely cannot imagine how it's doable. But the thing is, there's an invincibility power up in the second half of the level. And it makes me wonder, is there an invincibility power up in the first half that just wasn't spawning correctly in the source
Mhm.
port? Because that is not an unheard of thing to do in Doom, is to give the player an otherwise impossible task, but also give them an invincibility power up, and then it's basically a race against time. Can you kill, the 50, you know, cyber demon juniors before your invincibility wears off? So I wonder if maybe that happened. It's possible. I haven't gone in and explored it through the official port. I should, but I didn't, and so I I don't know if my impression of that last level, just because I haven't double checked, I don't know if my impression of that last level is fair or not. But what I experienced was not.
Gotcha.
It was also weird that that was the last level, because the level before it really felt like it should have been the last level. It's long, it's really intricately designed, and you fight 9 normal cyber demons at the end, in a fairly challenging but not insurmountable boss fight. So when I finished that level and the episode didn't end, I was like, that's weird. Why is it? This feels like a completely unnecessary final level. That one I just did should be the final level.
Yeah.
So it's I don't generally like the style of that episode as a whole as much as I like some others.
Right.
It's not the most of the levels are fine aside from, the ones that I highlighted as not so much. But the levels tend to be very long, and with Doom I prefer the levels to be kind of shorter. To me, Doom is a very pick up and play arcadey type of game. I don't want to be spending like 20 minutes in a level,
Yeah.
If it was Halo, that would be fine.
Yeah.
Because Halo's got all sorts of stuff. Like you're on foot, then you're in like a tank, and then you're in aircraft. There's a lot of variety. The original Doom doesn't have that because it's from like 1994. So
And it's not co-op, right?
Doom actually is co-op.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
'Cause I knew
It
Duke
does.
Nukem was, but
Yeah,
I couldn't
Doom
remember.
Doom does have co-op. In fact, apparently the co-op has been expanded to 16 players.
What?
Yeah, so Doom used to be restricted to 4 players in co-op, and I don't know if they allowed more than 4 in deathmatch.
Oh, okay. So you're specifically saying that they allow more than 4 in co-op?
Yeah, apparently they allow more than 4 in co-op with this new official version of the game.
Why would you that I feel like the levels are too small for that many people.
Yeah, I don't that's I haven't tried it, so
Yeah.
um,
Just seems
I
weird.
haven't actually seen it myself, but it sounds like it
Even
has,
4 to me sounds like a lot.
Four
of
four
people.
is a lot.
Yeah. 2 makes sense to me.
2 makes a lot
Maybe
of sense.
3.
Yeah,
Or-
3 is good for Hexen, where you've got the 3 character classes.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Yeah,
That gem.
yeah.
Love that
It's
game.
too bad you can't save a multiplayer game, because I tried playing that multiplayer with someone and we ran up against that problem, because Hexen has like persistence from level to level. It's not just level 1, level 2, level 3. It's
Yeah.
like, here are the keys you found, the switches you've hit, because there's backtracking in Hexen, and then there's
Yeah.
also the ultimate weapon pieces that you're picking up. Not being able to save a multiplayer session is a
Yeah, it
huge
sucks.
weakness of that. Hexen is definitely best when played multiplayer.
Man, I can't believe we had the remakes episode and we didn't name Hexen.
I don't really feel like Hexen needs a remake. I
mean, just like maybe not like a 3D crazy remake, but maybe just like a. You know how they do like the 2D HD remakes
yeah,
with like Octopath Traveler and stuff like that? Like just upres it,
high res graphics.
upres the visuals a little bit, make them. You know what I mean?
I mean, the problem is that is in the hands of Activision, so who the fuck knows what
Yeah.
they'll do,
Well, that's
if
true.
anything. You can't
Yeah.
even buy Heretic 2 anymore. Like it's just tied up
crime.
in
Yeah.
rights shenanigans. And then the other thing I used just a little bit was the Doom Eternal mod
Oh,
SDK.
the editor. Yeah.
I couldn't figure out anything about it. I could not.
Is
could
it-
not.
Is it just not user friendly, or is it just badly designed?
Well, I mean, I guess it's a bit of both. The
Okay.
thing is, it's an internal development tool. It's what they use to build the levels.
Oh, okay. So it's not
So,
user friendly then.
It's made for the people who made it, and they know
it's
how
a
it
developer
works
kit. Yeah.
because they made it, and then they put it out there, and it's like there's nothing self-explanatory or logical about it unless you're the person who developed it. And then it's like, well, yeah, this is how it made sense to make it at the time. We
Yeah.
know how it works. Now you guys just have to figure out, like,
Yeah, it's not
I mean,
customly designed to
yeah.
give to modders and stuff like that. So
yeah. I mean,
Here you go.
it's a free upgrade if you. It's also, I will say, it is still in beta.
Mm.
So like the function, like you have to actually opt in through the Steam beta.
Oh, okay, so it's not launched
menu.
yet. Gotcha.
So it's not officially like launched.
Yeah. But
um,
if it's in beta, then most of the stuff is done. It's mostly
Yeah.
just like bug
Yeah.
fixes and
Yeah.
small tweaks. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that if I put some time into it, I could figure it out. But
Yeah.
like it's a lot. It's a lot of
I
work.
spent a lot of time with the Free Space 2 editor.
Oh, yeah?
Remember Free Space 2?
Mm-hmm.
That was a great game.
Remember Time Splitters 2? That had an editor on the GameCube.
Spoilers that might be in the show later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, cool.
So that's
Um,
about it.
all right. I'm still playing Helldivers 2. I don't really have
Yeah.
anything new to say other than I will say that I've encountered so it's kind of news, but it's not. I didn't put it in the news, but the patch that we talked about, the big
Hmm.
update for the game came out, and ooh, not good. It's
Oh
not.
yeah.
It didn't go well. Whole lot of bugs, and not the kind you shoot.
Yeah. Oh.
like like a whole lot of bugs, crashes. Like I think my game has crashed 10 times since that update. Like
Ouch.
it's pretty bad. And when you're doing online and it crashes, it's like it stings because like that all your work goes away, right? Um,
This is unrelated to what you're saying, but I just realized that our new recording setup does not have a timer on it. It shows us how long we've been going.
oh, it does for me.
Oh, well, that's great for you.
We're at 16 minutes, 17.
Okay.
But yeah, that patch did not, or the update did not go well. They actually issued a public apology and
Oh,
gave
yeah,
like
I did hear something about that.
yeah, they gave like a roadmap for the next 60 days of what they plan on doing, and
Okay.
they're reworking a lot of stuff. So I'm kind of done with it at this point. It's fun. I've had my fun with it, and I'll probably revisit it again in like 6 months,
Yeah.
see where it's been brought to, or the next when they finally reveal the third race that you fight
Yeah, the
in.
next big, you know, batch of content.
Yeah,
And
the
that's
next yeah.
fine. You get what you get what you need out of a game
Yeah,
and
I've got my money out of it.
yeah.
It's I think I'm at like 125 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely got my money out of it.
Absolutely. So yeah, you dip back in when you feel like there's enough content that's worth jumping back into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's totally normal.
And then two other games I've been playing is Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which is kind of
Okay.
old at this point. But it was the
Yeah, when
sequel
was
to
the last time a
Wildlands.
Ghost Recon game came out?
That was the last one.
And when was
Yeah,
that?
2018, I want to say.
Okay, so it
It was
wasn't that long ago.
no, not super old.
Is that the one that has the Predator DLC?
I'm not sure. It's the one that has John Barenthal in it.
Or is that Wildlands?
That
I
might be
don't know.
Wildlands. I'm
I,
not
I
sure.
only played like one Ghost Recon game ever, probably with you, and it was probably like 15 years ago or something.
I've only played that one, whatever one that one was, and Future Soldier. I loved Future Soldier. I thought it was really
Yeah,
good.
I can't remember the last time I played one of those games exactly.
It's really good though. It's overwhelmingly full of content though because of like it's one of those games. I mean, it's an Ubisoft game, so
Yeah,
it gets so much post-launch content. It's insane.
yeah.
You can actually play it in two entirely different ways. So it was originally designed kind of. Did you ever play The Division?
No.
So it's kind of like The Division where like you or Borderlands where you get weapons that have gear levels and
Oh,
tweaks and all
okay.
that kind of stuff. But they've introduced an entirely separate version of the game that you can choose within the game where it's not that. It's like every weapon is unique. It's not level based.
Yeah.
It's more classic, I guess.
It doesn't feel
Um,
like a live service game.
no, it doesn't. Not from a gameplay standpoint, anyway.
Yeah.
From a gameplay standpoint, it feels like it's a squad-based open world shooter, but it does have a lot of live service elements to it. Of like,
I could probably get into a game like that, but
oh,
I
it's
mean,
fun.
I'm always hesitant to give Ubisoft my money.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
They make the same game 17 different ways.
Yeah.
That's what
You
they
know,
do.
it's not even just giving that company in general my money. It's also that they want me because I'd be playing on PC, of course. They even if they sell it to me through Steam, they want me to install
Oh
their
yeah,
own
Uconnect.
or Uconnect or whatever the fuck it's called now.
Yeah,
Which to me is like so it's not really on Steam then, is it?
no,
If you want me to download your own thing, then it's not actually like you're just using Steam as a storefront and not
I know I
the
hate that
actual
crap.
launcher, which is
I
the whole
hate that.
reason I don't have Rainbow Six Siege, even though that game looks sick as fuck.
Yeah, that game's great. It's impossible to get into now though,
Oh yeah.
because when it first came out, there was like 8 classes, or they
Oh,
call them
the million.
operators.
Yeah,
Yeah, now there's like 48.
yeah.
So it would
Did they
it
get
would
like
take
really
you.
esportsy with that stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. Yeah,
Nothing.
it's
Nothing
it's it's almost like
says.
Dota.
Yeah. Nothing. Nothing says fucking special forces professional like having
Right.
branded esports swag dangling off your gold-plated assault rifle.
Yeah, you would probably have to play that game for 100 to 150 hours to like get good,
Yeah.
honestly, because like you have to learn what all the individual operators' specials are
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's like playing Dota,
Yeah.
or League of Legends. So it's such an impossible task.
Yeah, and I just really
Um,
like the idea of destruction physics, and
oh yeah, the gameplay itself is amazing.
yeah,
It's really good. I played it when it first came out, and I really enjoyed it. And then I took a break from it and came back, and then there was like
it was
10
like a completely different game at that point.
Yeah, it was like, well, so it was the same game, but it was like there was 10 more operators than what I started with, and the player base had become really good.
Yeah,
So like I would like peek my head around a corner, just a
and
little itty bit,
boom, gone.
and I'm gone. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So that was it for me.
Right.
I think I've revisited it like 6 months ago just to see, and I was like, oh,
I would
yeah.
probably just play Terrorist Hunt. Just shoot bots.
I don't even know if it has an offline.
Oh, does it
single-player
not
mode.
even have an offline?
I don't think so.
Oh man, does
It
it
might
even have
like
a story
tutorial
mode,
No.
or is it's just multiplayer?
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's two games within it. Basically, there's Siege and then there's Extraction.
Okay.
Extraction's the co-op one,
Yeah.
but it's yeah. The original vision for Siege was a single player and multiplayer game. It was called Patriots.
Oh yeah, that game that was in development for fucking ever.
Yeah, and then it changed to Siege, which
Yeah,
is probably good for them because Siege is like a huge hit.
because it came out.
Yeah, and it came out.
They
Yeah,
could start
exactly.
making money on it.
Yeah. So that's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and then the other game I went back and played. I've played it before, but it's had 3 massive free expansions,
Ooh.
which is amazing since I played it originally. So I thought I would go back, and it's Cult of the Lamb.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic game. Fantastic. It's like a roguelite.
Yeah. I know the game. I've been meaning to get it, but it's
highly
not
recommend it.
happened.
Highly recommend it. It's really good. It's like half dungeon crawler, half
City
town builder,
yeah.
half it's really cute.
Yeah,
and some of the
Did they
best
put out a
music.
sex update for that?
Oh, I have no idea. Not that I found anyway.
I remember there being something about like, oh, there's a sex update where your cultists can get married and reproduce.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Did they oversell it or overmarket it?
Yeah, it's oversold. They get married, or you can get married to one of your cultists, and you get some sort of like some sort of bonus.
I apologize to everyone for hearing my chair creaking.
I haven't heard it. So I think you're good.
I was able to hear it when I was doing the audio fixing last week, which I guess we should address briefly. We had some shenanigans with our episode last week, and we actually had to re-upload it after I went through my entire audio track and manually boosted the different blocks of audio to try and have them somewhat balanced.
And we've switched
to
podcast
a new
software.
Yeah.
So this is the first one that we're recording with it. So if there is any issues,
blame it.
What's the phrase? Please pardon the dust.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it goes well.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will. But yeah, Cult of the Lamb is great. They just added local co-op, so it's pretty cool. Some of the best music in a game that I've heard in a long time. It's really good.
Yeah, the art's really nice too.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, it's fantastic. Can't wait to see what those guys do next. Yeah, that's about it. I think I'm going to be jumping into Dungeons of Hinterland. I think it's called Hinterberg. Dungeons of Hinterberg. I think is the next game. It's kind of a mix between a Zelda and like a dungeon.
Yeah, didn't we take a look at the trailer for that in a previous episode?
Oh, probably. Yeah, it came out very recently. It's on Game Pass, so I played the first like half an hour of it, and it seemed very fun. But I just haven't put enough time into it yet. All right. So moving on, it's letter time. It's letter time for the first time.
We finally got some viewer mail, and at least one of it is not from somebody that one of us knows.
Exactly.
Unless it's from my mom. You wouldn't know her email address, so it could
Andrew.
be from my mom.
I'm what's up? All right. So the first one is from Cult2K, who is my co-host for Wrestling.
Well, hold on. The first one should be like the first
actual
from somebody we don't know. They should get the honor of being our first.
That's a good call. The first one then is from Old School Legend.
Don't know who that is, so it's legit.
It's legit. And his question, or her question, is, what is your favorite comfort game? One of those you always go back to and play time and time again. No matter how many times you play it, it's there for you, and it's always good.
Yeah, I've actually got a few. So, Doom is one of them. I have a launcher utility on my desktop that just lives there, and I can select my source port and my WAD files in seconds. It's a really helpful program. It's just called ZDL, like Z Doom Launcher, I think, is what it stands for. And it just, yeah, it sat on my desktop for years, and I use it whenever I'm in the mood for Doom. And the other one is Noita, which is a physics. It's like a 2D physics roguelike, et cetera, et cetera. Did you ever? Do you remember those Falling Sand games that were popular in browsers for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on that idea, but it's a game in there where each pixel is a different material type, and you're a wizard, and you go into a mine, and then you go to the levels beneath that, and you try to unearth the secrets.
The
And
secrets.
yeah, the secret, like, not to spoil it, the secret is the touch of Midas, where everything
Gold.
turns into gold. Yeah,
Interesting.
and so it's like, ooh, you got greedy and turned
This was
into
a
gold.
Steam game, or
Yeah, this is on Steam, and but there's other endings depending on various secret components of stuff that you find and the various in-world quests that you can
can you
do.
put that in the chat? I wanna
Sure,
pull
sure.
it up on Steam.
I will pull
I
it.
feel like I've heard of this before.
You might have. I'll put the Steam page in there. Just grab that, and paste. There we go. So yeah, it's a neat little game. It's I think it's like a Finnish studio that makes it. It's a fun little thing, and it's very moddable. Although my mods are stuck in their current configuration, so there's some kind of bug with my installation of the game. But I mean, other than that, it's great. It's a lot of fun, very quick and easy to load up. When I feel like playing something and I can't think of anything, I usually boot up Noida and I kill 20 minutes with that.
It's a roguelite, which is definitely a genre I like. Ooh, I like the art style. Very cool. 2020. It's not very old.
Nope.
I only have really one that I can think of off the top of my head, and that's Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah.
Every time I go back to that game, I play it from start to finish. Absolutely love it. The
a good
music
game.
is so nostalgic. It's a perfect game in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chrono Trigger would be my favorite comfort game. I can play that at any time and enjoy it. The fact that it is not available on modern consoles is an absolute crime. I do not understand.
It was on mobile for a while.
Yeah.
I think you can get it on Steam. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure on Steam, but yeah, I know there's definitely a mobile version, but yeah, I don't understand why there's not a modern console version.
Can you not get like the PS1 version in the PS1 Classic section or something? Weird. Very weird.
Yeah, you'd think that these companies that are creating these digital libraries would have like
A
everything.
highly portable version of a game that they could just put out
I
on,
just don't
like
understand.
Capcom has with Resident Evil 4. Although I guess now they've got the remake for that.
They do have the remake, yeah. But yeah, that would be my favorite comfort game. Call 2K's question is actually sort of a two-part question.
Oh,
What
these
was
are
the-
great.
Yeah, what was
Love
the
to get these at a convention.
Well, funny you say that because his question is, what is the first and the best coin-operated game that you've ever played? So, an arcade, put in a quarter.
First
Play it.
coin-operated game I've ever played. Ooh. I actually do know this. The first one that I can ever remember playing would be Miss Pac-Man. There
wow.
was a donut place here in town that had a sit down
Really?
table version of it.
Do you remember the name of the place? I have
No.
Brantford knowledge galore, dude. I
It
would know
wasn't a
everything.
Tim Hortons, so it's
No,
clearly
no.
not in business anymore.
No, definitely not. The only arcade I remember was at the Brantford
Oh,
Mall.
this wasn't an arcade. This was just like
Yeah.
This is just one in this donut place, and me and my mom used to go there occasionally. and we get donuts, and we'd sit down
Play
and
some
play a little bit
Miss
of
Pac-Man.
and play some Miss Pac-Man.
I'm trying to remember the first
Um,
coin-operated game I played. I said that the arcade at the Brantford Malls next to the theater is the one that I
There
went
used to be an
to.
arcade. I don't remember if it was here in town or if it was like near, like in, a nearby town. There used to be one in, God, the image in my brain is like an orange building, but I mean, it's so long ago. But then, of course, there's also been like machines in a variety of places. There have been, there've been a few like party places that aren't Chuck
Yeah.
E. Cheese, but have
I
like
think
your
Jungle Video had one at one point.
your video games and your mechanical games. There was one that was here for a while, and then they shut down. Now it's just like, oh, you might find one in a movie theater or something,
Yeah.
or a bowling alley.
I'm pretty sure that my first coin-operated game was probably a light gun game.
Ooh,
But I don't know which one. My brain is telling me Time Crisis, but I don't think it was an arcade. I thought that was like a PlayStation.
Time Crisis is an arcade game. There's a
It-
PlayStation version of it.
It could be Time Crisis.
Time Crisis is
it
really
might be
good.
a Terminator one as well. Those are the two that are like
The
coming to my
Terminator
brain.
arcade game. Yep.
Yeah.
There's also Virtua Cop.
Yeah, it might actually be Virtual Cop. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
If it was 3D, but everything was like really flat shapes, like really solid colors,
Yeah.
then it was probably Virtua Cop. If
Okay,
it had
yeah.
textures in it, then it would have been Time Crisis.
No, it was much more. No, it definitely had textures, so it's probably Time Crisis.
Yeah, Time Crisis is great. I love that game.
Yeah. What's the best coin operated game?
Best coin-op game? That's easy. That's just saying what's my favorite arcade game. Space Harrier. Love Space
Yep.
Harrier.
Sure, if I have a favorite, I didn't get to play a whole lot of arcade games.
I mean,
but
we played
if
the home versions of a lot of them. Remember, we played a lot of Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Super Nintendo back in the day.
Yeah, I'll revisit this next week. I'll do a little bit more research, but at the moment, my brain is telling me that probably Mortal Kombat was my favorite coin operated game.
Yeah, it's definitely better in the arcade than it was on the Super
Yeah.
Nintendo. The Super
yeah.
Nintendo version is so sluggish.
I remember renting it on the Super Nintendo and was like,
It
"This
was
is fun, but why does it seem so weird?"
it's so delayed. It's
Yeah.
so delayed. Even the Genesis version is way faster.
Yeah,
But then the Genesis
and no
version,
blood either on the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah, but the Genesis version looks like trash.
Yeah.
I mean, neither one of them looks as good as the arcade version, but the Genesis version is really bad looking. Like it's a serious downgrade.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on to the trailers of the week, which we have several here. Let's start off with I can't speak.
Retro Realms.
Retro Realms. Retro Realms revealed a Halloween and Ash vs. Evil Dead 2D.
Now, these
Contra-like?
separate games, or are they in a
I
single
believe they're
package?
separate games.
Because that was not clear to me.
No,
It would make
I'm-
sense for them to be separate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're separate games, and they just announced them at the same time.
Yeah.
But they look gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks kind of like what if you made Splatterhouse today?
I was gonna say that it looks exactly like that. Yeah, and Way Forward is the one making it.
Yeah, highly violent, pixelated.
Yeah,
It looks really nice. I moused through the trailer a little bit here, and I've got Michael Myers mid jump about to slash some lady who's flexing on him or something.
yeah, it looks really fun. The Halloween one looks better in my opinion than the Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm sure both of them will be fantastic. Way Forward is a
Yeah. I mean, they look pretty
Fantastic.
similar to me,
yeah, they do look very similar.
but Halloween
Maybe you buy
has,
them and get them in a package deal or something.
maybe Halloween has worse luck with video game adaptations than Evil
Oh,
Dead.
yeah.
Evil Dead has at least had some decent ones.
Yeah,
Halloween has had that shitty Atari game.
Yeah. Oh, good lord! I
Did-
think it had
had-
an NES game that was pretty bad too. Wasn't it
What?
like
I don't think there was a Halloween game on the NES. There was Friday the 13th.
what Crystal Lake is that? Halloween?
Yeah, that's Friday the 13th.
Oh, Crystal Lake is Friday the 13th. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking
There's
of.
Friday the 13th, which is not great. Although it does have there's some good music in that game. Like when you go
Yeah, it's
into
not
the
bad for NES.
when you go into the
especially.
cabins, it's got this really spooky music, and that's probably the highlight of the game.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like a film nerd here, but the thing that I don't like about that game is actually story related, which is that if you don't go to the cabin in the lake quick enough, Jason will kill children, which he does not
Yes.
do. He kills teenagers. He does not
Specifically.
kill young children because he was mistreated as a young child. So he specifically does not kill young children.
Just teens.
But that, you know. And then there was also the Nightmare on Elm Street game, which is better, but still not amazing.
Yeah.
And has 4-player for some reason. So if you have the NES 4 score, or the satellite, what was it, the satellite or the 4 score?
Oh God, that's
I forget.
Slightly before my time, as far as like NES. I started gaming right as the NES was transferring over to the Super Nintendo. So
Yeah.
I've played a lot of NES games, but as far as like knowing the specific weird peripherals and stuff,
Which
yeah.
is weird because we're not even a full year apart, and I played the shit out of the NES.
Oh, so did I. I definitely played it. My uncle had like 25 plus games for it, so I played it quite significantly.
Oh, we know because we spent a lot of time trying to detective our way to identify that game that you sent me a photo of, and it turned out to not even be an NES game.
No, Super Nintendo.
It was T2, the arcade game, for anyone who was wondering.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The next game on our list for trailers is I put this one in here just because I thought it was unique. It's called Parkour.
Parkour, which is a parkour game where you play as a dog.
Yep, and he seems like he's like a spy.
Yeah, he's got like a grappling hook.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cute.
It's a cinematic trailer, so it doesn't actually show any gameplay. So who knows if it'll be any good? But like, it's a cute idea.
I think it was a gameplay target.
Yeah.
Because when he was running down like the hallway, it looked like gameplay, like rendered gameplay. You know what I mean? So we'll see. It was just a reveal trailer. So
shit! I just saw in my YouTube recommendations. There's a Stalker 2 video that IGN put up 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. I did not notice that. Okay,
yeah, it was a preview of.
I will have to watch that after the podcast.
I'm kind of media dark on Stalker 2 at this point because I know it's coming soon.
Oh man,
and,
I
see it.
I'm
just crossing my fingers. It turns out well for
me. I need it. I need it so badly. Just put it in my veins. I fucking love the Stalker games so much.
Hype level 5.
Hype level 1,000,000 for me.
The next trailer was the Until Dawn remake,
which I can't watch because YouTube wants me to sign in.
Yeah, so this one we've talked about on the show before, not with you. I spoke with Bailstorm about it on one of the earlier episodes.
But I mean, it's Until Dawn. Like, is it going to be wildly different? Probably not.
Well, the weird thing is that when they first showed it, everyone was kind of like, "It looks the same.
Yeah,
why are we getting a remake of this?" And I think they've heard the complaints about that because this is a comparison trailer to the original one, and it's very clear that this is a remake. It very much looked like a remaster up until this point.
So now Digital Foundry will probably have a comparison video up on it in a few days or something.
Yeah, it looks much better, and it looks like it's been moved to Unreal Engine 5. They got rid of the fixed camera angles, so now you can actually like rotate the camera full 360 degrees. So it's
I kind of like the fixed camera angles in that game. That game looks gorgeous, by the way. Like the original, it absolutely breathtaking looking.
It doesn't hold up as far as gameplay goes, though. If you go back and play it now, it's very tanky.
I mean, it manages to do the interactive movie thing a lot better than pretty much anything that came before it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did good with this, and I think they're the same guys that made the Quarry.
Oh yeah, I believe that is the same people.
And I think they're now making the Casting of Frank Stone as their next project.
And then they had that VR spinoff that I didn't play because I don't have a PlayStation or a PSVR. But they had Peter Stormare and I think we talked about that briefly. They Peter Stormare in like a haunted house ride or something. And
it's
always fun.
It was super fun. Yeah,
it's always fun when Peter Stormare shows up for literally anything.
Yeah, and he is in the remake.
He's the psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm. So it's good that they put out that video because I thought that was just a really pointless remake, but now it looks really good. So good for them. I'm definitely not going to buy it though because I'm sure it's going to be full price.
And you already have the original.
It's not worth it, man. I'm assuming this will be one of those games that they eventually put on the PlayStation Plus game catalog. So the next one was The Relic, The First Guardian.
Yes, and I suspect we are probably thinking the exact same thing. This is first of all, it looks exactly like Dark Souls, and second, The First Guardian makes it sound like it's some kind of prequel to The Last Guardian.
Yeah,
it is definitely the first thing, but it is not the second thing.
They could have just called it The Relic. I don't understand why these...
They probably couldn't copyright, or pardon me, they probably couldn't trademark The Relic because it's too generic a name.
It could be, yeah. The reason I put it in here was because I always keep my eyes on Souls-likes because I always want to enjoy them. I never end up doing it. I never end up enjoying them except for Elden Ring.
Did you play Lies of P?
I played the demo
and
the trial, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really have... I pretty much have played every Souls-like a little bit because I'm one of the... I'm this person who really desperately wants to like Souls-likes. But every time I play them, they're too hard, and I get pissed off.
It can be tough.
It's daunting.
And that's what happened to me with Elden Ring. Is I was just kind of like rolling my eyes, like, okay, and ironically, that's the one that hit for you. But for me, I was just like, okay, we've crossed into the ridiculous territory.
Yeah.
And as I said when I did my Dark Souls 3 replay, that just cemented that idea in my mind. Like Dark Souls 3 is nowhere near as absurd as Elden Ring is.
Yeah. The only thing that stood out to me is, as far as this one goes, other than being a Souls-like, so I instantly am like listening.
Maybe
is it's gorgeous. It looks freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Whether it will actually be good or not, I am not sure, but we will see. Next one, we finally get a release date for the Plucky Squire. We've been waiting for a release date on this one for a long time. I think I've mentioned this game 4 times on this show. Probably not with you. It is a 2D and 3D ode to classic games. Absolutely gorgeous art style. And it's coming out September 11th?
September 17th.
17th, okay. Yeah, I knew it was soon. And it is coming day 1 to PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
I dig the way this looks. It looks kind of like if you crossed like Earthbound with Knots.
Yeah.
And maybe just a little bit of like Castle Crashers.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's
beautiful.
Neat. I like it.
Yeah, I like the whole like moving through the books and the mix of 2D and 3D. I like the idea of it kind of being like a Zelda-like. Like it just, there's nothing about it I don't like. So I'm hoping it turns out well.
Yeah, and from the looks of this, like the actual gameplay isn't just a view of the 2D world. It's a view of the 2D world that is projected onto the pages of the book.
Yep.
So it actually has like the crease in the center and all that. That's neat. That's a nice little touch.
That's very cool. So can't wait to play that one. That will be one.
My lights just did a flicker.
Uh-oh. It's not raining here. I'm not sure. You're pretty close to me, so that's weird.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come.
Right. But the next one was Rue Valley.
Rue Valley. Yeah. This one came out, I think, either today or yesterday. Very cool art. It's got this the idea of this game is like you're stuck in a time loop, like Groundhog Day, living the same day over and over again. But it almost has
isometric narrative RPG. So it's like
Disco Elysium.
Yeah, Disco Elysium.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that caught my attention right away.
And I commented before the show that it looks a lot like the art style from the Spider-Verse movies, which I can dig.
Yeah, looks visually cool. I love the style. I love time travel stuff. Disco Elysium was cool. I never really played Disco Elysium past the opening chapter because it's really complicated.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of that game. So keeping an eye on
I'm looking here. They've even got the guy's like mood listed underneath his. Yeah. That's
crazy.
Very Disco Elysium.
Yep. Very cool. And then the last one is The Bournless.
Which is the most nondescript trailer I've ever seen.
It's very nondescript. I agree.
Guys look at a thing in the distance, then they turn around and look at the camera. And
there's like a spider creature or Lovecraftian kind of creature in the background.
There's no dialogue or anything. It's
I thought
just
it was visually impressive.
It looks fine.
What I wanted to do was find out who they are, the developers. It's Cathedral Games, and I've never heard of them.
I mean, they might be new. This might be their first game.
So it is a survival horror first-person shooter.
Yeah.
It's their flagship game. It's their only game in active production, and Okay, well, their website needs to be updated because it says it has an estimated release date of the second quarter of 2024. Little late,
Yeah.
boys. A little late. Looks like they're based in the UK.
Now this is
Uh,
interesting. You go to at the very end where of the trailer where they say wish list now, they have a picture of it in a box as a PC game. When was the last time you saw a PC game that came in a box?
yeah, good question. So yeah, this is their first game. They've announced their second game. It's called the Silkless or Silklands. Sorry,
No,
Silklands.
Silkless. That's everybody who's waiting for Silk Song.
Oh,
Ooh, snap.
little bird there. Actually, looking at this website, I'm starting to think this is one of those. I don't want to like throw shade or anything, but there's some scam type,
Really?
like Red Alert.
You want to
like
drop a link in the chat and I can take a look at that and see what I think?
it could just be I'm reading into it too much, but
Yeah, let me take a look at this.
so like if you go to that page, that's their games page, and if you look at the Silklands logo, I'm pretty sure that's a Final Fantasy font. If it's not,
Well,
it's
I mean,
damn
that's
close.
that font. Yes, that font wasn't invented by Square though. That is an
Oh, it wasn't?
extant
Okay.
font. No,
Interesting.
but that is definitely the same font.
Yeah,
Like I'm looking
they
at
just
that
changed
angle.
the A and the end of the.
Yeah, but no, that font predates Final Fantasy by quite a lot.
It's also very strange that they've announced that they're working on a third game and they haven't even finished the first one yet.
Well, I mean, you gotta kind of layer development because you don't want to be starting a game fresh just as your
But I mean, you haven't even finished the first one, and the second one
yeah
is not even like it's in the early stages of development. Like, don't
yeah
talk about your third game when you're
yeah
still working on your
It's not
first
a
and
good
second
idea
ones.
to start talking about
Yeah,
that
I mean, you
early
could
and
be out of
start.
business by that time.
Yeah, you don't
Like,
want to set expectations.
no, don't jump ahead. Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway,
which is relevant to today's topic of the week.
it is very relevant to today's
But
topic
we'll
of the
get to
week.
that when we get to that.
Indeed. Why don't you start off with the first bit of news?
The first bit of news. Yeah, so there's a bunch of news. There's good news and there's bad news, and unfortunately, we start off today with sad news. Rachel Lillis, who was a voice actor, had been in quite a lot, but most relevantly to our show, was the original voice in English of Misty and Jessie from Pokemon,
Yes.
has unfortunately died after a bout of cancer.
Read about that. Yeah,
Veronica Taylor, who was the original voice of Ash, announced it on Twitter
it
a
sucks.
few days ago that she died last Saturday,
That sucks.
which is very unfortunate. And
And she
not
didn't
to-
just do Misty. You did a couple, right? She
yeah,
like
Misty,
Jigglypuff and
Jessie, Jigglypuff. Yeah, she did several Pokemon as well. I don't want to turn this into a soapbox moment, but I was thinking about putting together like a quick reel of some of her work because I have an anime Blu-ray box sitting on my desk right now that just happens to have her in the show. And she doesn't play a major character in the show, but like
but she's there.
that it just happens to be there is, like she was in a whole bunch. Like there's Berserk, which is what I'm holding right now. There's Slayers, Revolution Girl, Lieutenant. There's a whole bunch of stuff she was in. But anyway, my thought was to put together a little reel of her work that we could play. But then my immediate thought after that wasn't like, oh, what characters do I pick or whatever. It was, is YouTube's copyright detection going to
Yeah.
catch that and flag it? And as soon as I thought that, I was like, it's probably not even worth doing because we'd have to fight with the copyright strike just for a tribute to somebody. And that just was really depressing to me. But so we wish her friends and family well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
That
very
sucks.
unfortunate.
Cancer's a bitch.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Do you want to go into another news story?
Sure. We'll lighten the mood a little
Please
bit.
do.
And say that Tango Gameworks
That was my next news
is
story.
not going under.
No,
They have been sold by Xbox instead of closed.
That is the good news I was referring to.
Yeah, they've been acquired by Krafton, and the team is still going to shrink. It's shrinking by about 50%, unfortunately.
Which is not great, but it's better than by 100%.
Absolutely. Krafton is interested in allowing them to continue developing Hi-Fi Rush,
Yes.
which means a sequel, I assume.
I saw members of the game's voice cast celebrating that on Twitter.
That's fantastic. This is one of those things that
it almost never happens. And this should be how it goes all the time.
Whoever made that decision at Xbox,
good job. Thank you.
Fist bump to you, man.
For being human.
Yeah, why just close them? Find someone who's interested.
Yeah, this is like
the huge
industry.
Fact
that we have to give kudos for this is
that's pretty sad.
It's kind of sickening because this is how it should be every time.
Out of all the things that you could do, you know, with a studio, close it or sell it. Sell it. I mean, it benefits everybody. It benefits you because you're going to make money, and it benefits the studio because they're going to stay open.
Yeah, and you don't get the PR thrashing that they got from, because now all that's for nothing. Like all the bad PR that Microsoft got for that, they could have just made the decision to sell right at the start. And I mean, obviously we don't know how long this deal has been in the works, but the fact that they announced it was going to close means that this was probably negotiated afterwards. So, like, why not just look for a buyer?
Yeah,
right from the get-go.
There's so many studios that they could have done this with.
You get a free PR victory.
Yeah.
And those people get to continue working. Again, there's no losers in a situation like that.
My only thought is that they're scared that they will sell the studio, and then the studio will thrive, and then they'll go, oh shit, we look like idiots for selling.
I mean, maybe, but again,
but I mean, that's
the human thing to do would be to look at that and say, you know what? Good for them.
Exactly, 100%. Also, I was wrong about the 50% staff cut. What they're actually doing is sending 50% of their staff to Krafton's Japan subsidiary.
Oh,
so they're not being
everybody.
So everyone's coming over.
Pretty much everyone. Okay,
that's about 100 people.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
so there really are no losers, except for Microsoft, I guess.
Yeah, they still look bad for selling a great company, but
well, no, they look bad for canceling them. They look better for now changing that and selling them, but
they do. Yeah,
it's not going to repair the damage that it's already done to their reputation.
Yeah, this is one of the rare instances where Xbox kind of pivots and turns a negative into a positive.
Yeah, but again, one of those things that when they with the Xbox One, when they're like, yeah, you need to check in every 24 hours for your games, and then they reverse that.
It's stepping on the rake, where it's like, you didn't need to do that. You should have saw this coming.
Yeah, why would you do that? You know that people aren't going to like this.
Yeah, very strange. But yeah, congratulations to Tango.
Yeah. All right. So I got here 2 Legacy of Kain games will be re-released for Evercade next month. This is from Eurogamer. So Evercade is this, I don't know if you even know what this is. It's this handheld gaming system that still uses cartridges. It's like a boutique thing.
Dude, there's so many of those now that I can't keep track. Analog Pocket and I can't keep track.
The Analog Pocket, that's basically a hardware Game Boy emulator. The Evercade is its own thing.
It's not playing old games.
It's not playing old games. Well, I mean, it is here, but they're ported to the system. It's got its own distinct cartridge format and all that. Like I said, it's a boutique thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Soul Reaver and Blood Omen will be sold together on a single cartridge for use on this device. They had a Duke Nukem 1 and 2 remasters a little while ago, and I was a little bit put off that those didn't get released on Steam or anywhere else. They're exclusive to the Evercade because they had native widescreen support and everything, which would have been really cool for those.
Do you have an Evercade?
No,
Are they expensive?
No. I have no idea, but I wasn't going to invest in a handheld for what is mostly games that I already own.
Oh, it's a British product. Looks like you have to import it.
Okay.
The UK.
I didn't even look into that. I was like, okay, this. Like I said, this is a neat thing, I guess, but it's not enough use case for me.
They have a console version too.
Oh, they do, don't they?
Yeah, it's
Still
called
not enough.
the BSR, which is a cool name.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna buy a handheld at this point, it's either got to be a Nintendo handheld
Mhm.
or it's got to be like a handheld PC, like a Steam Deck or something. Which I do not own one of. I can't justify that cost, but it would have to be that functional in order for me to justify the cost, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I cannot find a price for the Evercade. Is their websites redirect me to the Canadian website, and they
Oh
don't
yeah.
sell it on the Canadian website.
Oh, that's weird.
I'm trying to find because I have to assume that it's probably like 200 to 300 bucks.
Probably something like that.
I can find games. Games are pretty cheap. They're about 25 bucks.
Let me
Where's
see.
the price of the console?
Oh, here we go. I got it. I got it.
Just double the pounds. If it's in
It
pounds.
is 199 pounds or 229
Ooh.
euros
So
or
400
$229. I assume that's US dollars. Or so that's the Evercade Alpha. That's like their arcade
Yeesh.
thing.
Man, it's
That's
expensive.
their handheld. Sorry, here we go. The handheld is 99 pounds.
Oh, that's not bad. 200 bucks.
Yeah.
US.
Yep.
It's not bad. Okay.
Oh, it says here it's $99 99 USD again, I assume.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah, that is weird.
That is very weird. That means that the UK
That means that
is
if you're
more
buying it in the
expensive.
United States, you're getting a way better deal.
You're getting a deal. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, the Analog Pocket is like 500 bucks.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
crazy.
that's a whole custom custom
Yeah, it plays everything now,
FPGA.
by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's GBA. It's like everything handheld Game Gear.
Yeah,
I
it's an
think it even plays
FPGA
the.
based system, so they just reconfigure the way the processor works to
Yeah, it's
behave
crazy.
as whatever. Those things are expensive, but like stuff like the Mister or the Analog NT, which was another one.
Oh yeah,
That
the
plays
NT.
NES games. Yeah, they're crazy expensive, but they basically replace like all those game consoles.
Yeah, it's
The
true.
the
That's
Mister is
true.
something that I've looked into maybe doing, but every time I do that, I go, yeah, but I could also just not buy this and use emulators for
Exactly
free.
right. It's
You
such a
know?
hard. Yeah, it's a hard sell.
If I had like a proper setup for it,
Yeah,
I might go for it.
yeah.
But
You can just
I
make a
don't
res.
have
Just
I don't have
Raspberry
enough.
Pi it up if you
Yeah,
need
I don't
to.
have enough cartridges to justify it. And then I'd have to open up the cartridges and replace the battery-backed memory batteries, which are just, I mean, they're just like a coin cell, but, it's a lot of work to do when I could just emulate.
Absolutely.
So, I'm lazy in that regard.
Yeah, it's also cost effective. So
Yeah. Besides, if I want to play an NES game, I have my NES right next
Yeah.
to me. Still, it's hooked up to a TV.
It's the only one I don't have is an NES.
Yeah.
All right. Next piece of news is we talked about Valve last week, which is pretty
Mhm.
ironic because it appears that their new game is being played in beta form on Steam.
Yeah.
It reached over 18,000 concurrent players. It's called Deadlock, and
Mhm.
it is unfortunately a hero shooter / MOBA.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will do well because it's a Valve game,
Right.
but I just don't care anymore.
Yeah,
I
I know.
just don't care about hero shooters, and I just don't care. Like it's not what I want from Valve anymore.
Maybe this is why they're not taking care of the bot problem with Team Fortress 2, is they're like, oh, well, we have a new
Yeah, we have a new game
team-based
coming
hero
out.
shooter.
You guys will come on over,
Yeah.
But whatever. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that that people spotted this. There's actual like screenshots and stuff now that it's leaked. So
Well, it's hard to
whatever.
say that it's leaked if 20,000 people are playing it.
Well, I mean, they probably had to sign an NDA, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Interesting. Do you have any more?
I do. So, again from Eurogamer, Red Dead Redemption PC version detailed via PlayStation Store page.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. So
This
weird.
is odd.
Very
So
weird.
I guess an announcement that the PC version of Red Dead Redemption came out on the PlayStation Store, which apparently there's been no PC version announced,
No.
which I'm pretty sure I would have heard of because I love Red Dead Redemption and I've wanted it on PC for years. I'd like to play it at a reasonable frame rate and resolution instead of the 30 FPS 720p that it's locked to on the 360. So, yeah, it's very, very strange that this came out on the PlayStation Store. Like, did somebody hit publish to like platform and just completely hit the wrong button or what?
Yeah, very strange. Very strange.
That's bizarre.
And is it real? Is it coming? Or was it just a placeholder and they just
A
forgot to remove
placeholder or
it?
something? I have no idea.
Very strange. Nothing's come of it since. So, I don't know. But Gamescom is coming up next week, so if it was going to be announced,
So
I
that
assume
might
it
be the
would
time
next
to
week.
do it.
Yeah. So I guess we'll find out next week. if
Please
that-
put it on
real.
PC, Rockstar. It's been like 14 fucking years. It should have
That's-
been there
that's-
from the very beginning.
That's the only reason I don't believe it's true. It's this that
If
it's
they
been a
would have
long
done it, they
time.
would have done it by now.
Yeah,
I
kinda right.
gotta hope, man. That game is so fucking good.
It is real good.
I just
Yeah,
hope that if it does come to PC, they won't want Rockstar Social Club for single player play like they did for Red Dead
good
Redemption
lord.
2. They want it for multiplayer for their stats tracking and whatever.
Yeah.
Fine, fuck it. I don't care about
If I
that.
want to play offline, screw off.
Yeah, if I just want to play the single player campaign, fuck off. Just let me do it without signing up for your shit.
100% agree. 100% agree. My next one is Bungie. This was a weird one. They had a weird glitch in Destiny 2 where a large portion of their player base had their name reset.
Wow, okay.
So they all got renamed to some sort of generic thing like Guardian 6183.
Yeah, like when you start a new Xbox Live account or
Yeah.
whatever, and it just gives you a
It's like
random
a
name with a
default
bunch
name,
of
yeah.
numbers. Yeah.
So they're still trying to fix the issue because they don't know what caused it in the first place.
Oh my! How does
So,
that happen? Like
I
the game's
know.
been out for like 7 years now or something.
Bungie just can't do anything.
How do you
well
fuck
right now.
that up after like the software should be so mature? How do you fuck that up?
And honestly, with all of the crap that's coming out of Bungie lately, with the drama behind the scenes and the
Mhm.
layoffs and all that stuff, it wouldn't shock me at all if someone was like pissed off and was like,
I mean,
you know
that's
what I mean?
fun to think about, but it's far more likely is that they fired whoever was in charge of maintaining that aspect of the
Yes.
code, and they brought on somebody new to replace them that they
they were
then
like,
could pay
"Oops."
less,
Yeah.
and they had no idea how to use it, and they fucked it up.
Yeah, so a good portion of their player base has generic names, and that's obviously a huge problem for player matchmaking and
Yep.
hooking up with your buddies and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was just strange.
Strange
What
and
a-
funny if you're not a
Yeah.
Destiny 2 player,
Yeah, sucks.
in
to be a
which case
Destiny
it's
player.
fucked.
Yeah, very, very odd. They've only really said at the moment that they promised to deliver name change tokens to all players at a later date.
Yeah, well,
But-
hopefully everybody gets their proper names back.
Yeah,
You could
right.
you could do some weird hijacking with that.
Yeah, very, very, very. Bungie can't stay out of the bad news column.
Yeah.
You're good on news, right?
Yep, that was
Yep.
it.
I have two left. The first one's kind of a negative one, but also not entirely unexpected. Is console exclusive side scroller Replaced has been delayed to 2025.
I haven't even
Um,
heard of that.
So Replaced looks gorgeous. I think this is another developer out of Ukraine.
Oh, well, then, yeah.
So I don't quote me on that though. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look that up, but that's kind of something that is in my brain. They're called Sad Cat Studios. Let me just look that up real quick where they are. Pretty sure they're based in the UK or the Ukraine. Let's see. Their website does not state.
That's half the reason.
Cyprus.
Oh, okay.
Wherever that is. I don't know if that's close to Ukraine. I'm not great at geography over there. Yeah, the game was supposed to come out in 2022.
Oh, well, that'd be then that'd be a COVID delay then.
Well, they say in their statement, we'll keep it short. Replaced is now will now be released in 2025. Our initial release date was optimistic, and we apologize for that. Developing Replaced is quite a unique challenge, and we're proud to be creating something that special. We need more time to ensure we meet the high standards we've set for ourselves and to meet the expectations of our fans.
Okay, well, it happens.
So, yeah, but 3 years? Overdue?
Better better late than never.
It's not going to sell enough to pay for itself.
Well, I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe it'll really take off and do crazy well. We can hope.
We can hope.
Yeah.
It looks gorgeous, though. I can't wait.
Hopefully,
to
Microsoft doesn't shut them down if it underperforms.
I don't think it's a first-party studio. I think it's a second-party exclusive.
That's weird. That's a very weird thing to do these days.
Yeah, unless they got very often. Well,
if they got a.
I don't want to say it doesn't happen that often. I mean, Square Enix has been doing it with PlayStation.
Yeah,
Stellar Blade came out recently. That was the second-party one. Yeah. So it's rare, but it's not unheard of. And then our last is the PlayStation Plus game catalog update for next week. So this is for the 20th, I believe. PlayStation Extra and Premium members will be getting The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt for PS4 and PS5.
Good game.
Wild Hearts for PS5. That was the Monster Hunter like from EA.
Oh, okay.
Cult of the Lamb, which we talked about earlier today, both PS4 and PS5. Ride 5. It's the motorcycle racing game.
Okay.
Watch Dogs 2. Not sure, that seems really random, but
yeah.
I think it's been on PlayStation Plus before, and it was removed for whatever reason, and now it's coming back, so... I don't understand all that stuff. Like, why does that happen?
If you want to be Hacker Man and heck, what's the guy's name? Bobo Dakes, where you fucking clone his voice, and you make like a soundboard out of his voice, and you dupe the investor to give like $1 million to charity.
Is that in the game?
Yeah, that's a mission in the game.
Yeah, you like hack the cameras and you see his reaction when you're doing it and everything. Yeah. Yeah, Watch Dogs 2 is the best Watch Dogs game.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 was too generic. 3 was just weird. I don't understand where they went with 3. That was a series where they really didn't know what they were doing. I think kind of made it.
What they were doing is we need to have an open world GTA like.
Yeah.
To compete
that
with
brand is dead.
Sleeping Dogs and Saints Row.
Man, Sleeping Dogs was good.
Was there another one? I guess there was True Crime, but that was a while ago.
Yeah, True Crime was good. Driver, kind of.
Not really.
Yeah, that's probably it. GTA likes. There's not a whole lot of those.
They were popular for a while.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs was really good though. I enjoyed that. What other games are coming out? Sword Art Online Last Recollection for PS4 and PS5. Naruto 2 Boruto, Shinobi Striker, Sword Art Online, I can't even say the rest of the subtitle, for PS4. Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. I'm assuming these are all probably expansions for Sword Art Online. I can't imagine these are all separate.
I never got into Sword Art Online. It's an anime series where it's basically you die in the game, you die for real. It's set within an MMORPG that's played with VR headsets, and
it's people, like Ready Player One kind of an idea.
People get sent into comas, and their minds are stuck in the VR world. It's exactly the same as another series called Dot Hack that came out like 20 years.
Hack, yeah.
They came out like 20 years before, so I was like, okay. I mean, there's probably room enough for 2 of those, especially given the time break between them. But one was fine.
It looks like these are all actually different games.
They might be different games. It was very, very popular, so there's probably a whole bunch of games. It's easy to make a game out of a property that is itself inspired by video games. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
There were a bunch of Dot Hack games as well.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of them. So that's the games for Extra and Premium, and then Premium is getting some VR games. Vacation Simulator. Oh, that's the only VR game it's getting, of course. It includes the PSVR and PSVR 2 version of the game, which is very nice of them. And then as far as the classics go that Premium's getting, it's getting Time Splitters.
Ooh.
Time Splitters 2.
Ooh.
Time Splitters Future Perfect.
So all of them.
All of them. Sword Art Online Lost Song. I don't
Jesus,
know why.
more.
I don't
More
know.
of these.
Yeah, I don't know why. So that's 5 Sword Art Online games. So I don't know why this one's locked behind premium.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe it's more recent.
They're all PS4 games, so I have no idea which
Oh,
ones.
well then, I have no idea either.
I think the Lost Song is a remake.
Jesus Christ. The idea that you'd
of a
remake a
PS3
game
game.
from a franchise that recent.
Yeah, it says this PS3 title's original storyline. Yeah. So it's a PS3 game. Oh, that's why it's a premium game, because it's PS3. And they consider PS3 a classic already.
I don't know.
So that would be why. Okay, that's it. Not a great month in my opinion. The Time Splitters is really cool.
Are there PC versions of those or Time Splitters? Like, were there ever?
I don't
think so.
remember.
I don't think there were.
Nothing that comes to my mind. No.
Yeah, there should be. Those games are great.
Yeah.
I mean, they emulate pretty well, but I wanna have a real PC version.
Yeah. But yeah, not a great month for them. I mean, Witcher 3 is great. Wild Hearts is pretty average. Cult of the Lamb is great, but then it's just a bunch of games. Sword Art Online games.
I mean, I guess if you're really into Sword Art Online, it's probably a great month. But also, if you're really into Sword Art Online, you probably have those games already.
Yeah.
If you got into it late, I guess this is a good month for you.
Yeah, this is they're not convincing me that it's worth paying for this anymore.
Yeah.
Game Pass is just better.
And Game Pass gives you so much.
And the other thing I like about Game Pass more is that the Game Pass spreads out their games.
Oh, yeah.
Every week you'll get like a game or two, sometimes 4, and then PlayStation just does it all in one dump on one day.
Yeah.
Once a month. So it's like
that used to be how Nintendo put stuff out on the Virtual Console back on the Wii when it was good, and then they stopped giving a shit on the Wii U.
Jeez. Yeah. And then now they're playing catch up on the Nintendo Online service.
Yeah, which isn't even up to where the Wii U was, and we're near the end of the Switch's lifespan. Just fucking put them on the.
Let me say this: if they do not cross Switch Online on the Switch to Switch 2 or Super
that's
Switch,
gonna piss me off.
At that point it's like, okay, Nintendo, like, learn. You're not stupid, guys. So let's bring shit over that you've purchased already. So it's ridiculous that we have to purchase every generation. So.
Yeah.
But I think they will, though. I think the Nintendo Online.
Hopefully they figure it out by this point.
We'll see. There was another piece of news, but it is escaping me because for whatever reason I didn't put it in a link in the
oh no,
the news article. But if it comes to me, I will bring it up later. For now, let's move into topic of the week.
Yes.
Which this week is what happened to that game.
Mm-hmm.
So we have done some research and compiled a list of 10 games that either went MIA and just never came out, or were canceled under suspicious circumstances, and we kind of want to know why. We want to know why.
Just talk about games that we would have liked to play.
Yeah, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall in these situations to have known why they were canceled, because they were so.
I'd love to be a wasp on the wall.
Okay, no, okay,
and
sure.
Go after the person who said we're going to cancel it.
Yeah, wasp on the wall.
Because some of these might have been
awesome.
good.
That's officially a thing now. A wasp on the wall.
I
like it. No, not a fly on the wall. A wasp on the wall. That's good. I like that. All right.
What really burned about this is that when I was looking for games, I found some that I didn't know about, and I started getting angry.
Yeah.
That it was like, oh, this would have been cool. Damn it.
100%.
Like even decades after some of these have been canceled, it's like I didn't even know about that at the time, and I'm pissed off like it's fresh.
Yeah. This is the first list that we've done that limiting it to 10 was very difficult. I have about 25.
Yeah, you had a bunch.
So it might even be more than that. So this is going to be interesting.
I had to stop because it was too painful.
Oh, I know. I did too. I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I still have 2 generations to go. I've got my list. I'm good at this point.
Yeah. So do you want to start us off?
Okay. I will start with Prey 2.
Now, here's the question. Is that a sequel to Prey, the game from 2006, or is that a sequel to Prey, the game from, what was it, 2017?
Yeah, so this is the sequel to the first Prey.
Okay.
So this was the one that they had planned on it being an open world sci-fi bounty hunter game.
Hmm.
And they showed a little bit of gameplay, and the concept just sounded so good. And the first Prey game, super
Yeah.
underrated,
Yeah.
super underrated game.
Yeah, not very long, but fun. Doom 3 engine based game.
Yeah, great visuals and
Had
story moments.
some cool weapons.
Very
Uh,
cinematic.
had had portals when that was still kind of
Yeah,
like a
it had
novel
Portals
thing.
before Portal.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hmm.
No one. How many people? I wonder how many people.
And that was a game that was in development hell for a while because
It was.
that was a game that they wanted to make since like the mid '90s, I think. I think they were aiming for like a '97 or '98 release date, and it ended up coming out in 2006.
Yeah, and then the sequel was in development hell for 4
Yeah.
or 5 years, and then just got quietly canceled.
Yep.
And then eventually we got the remake slash
Or
reboot of Prey.
Reinvention, which is
Yeah.
just the name and doesn't really have anything to do
No.
with the previous game.
And I didn't really like it. I know a lot of people did, but it never hit with me. As much as I like that studio, it never did anything for me.
Yeah, it's
Prey
Arcane,
2.
right?
Yes. Yeah, same guys who did Dishonored.
Yep.
Which I love Dishonored 1.
And I believe also did Arx Fatalis, which
Yeah, they
I've
did,
talked
yeah.
about before.
And they did Deathloop.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right, what's your first one?
So my first one, this was actually fun because I got to learn some new stuff about this game. So, and just a
Is
heads
this the
up.
one that you referenced earlier? That I would know, or that I would...
No,
No?
no,
Okay.
no. And heads up, most of these are N64 games
Okay. I have a
because
few of those.
there were a lot of canceled N64 games.
Yes, there were.
Which I will say, I don't think has anything specific to do with the N64. And this is just my personal speculation, but I think maybe Nintendo was kind of
Hard to work
chomping at
with.
the bit to announce stuff to kind of puff up their upcoming releases lists to make it look
So
as
they just-
beefy as
They pre-announced things too early.
before it was really known whether they'd go through or not, because there are so many games I remember reading about that just never saw the light of day.
Okay.
And when I think about it, I'm like, maybe they were trying to make their upcoming list look as impressive as the PlayStation's upcoming release list, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
That, again, just personal guess, speculation.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I've always felt about it. So the first game is Rika. This was going to be a third-person sort of action shooter platformer kind of thing. And previously, I'd only seen screenshots of it. It turns out, and I just learned this in my research, that somebody who worked at the studio developing this game put out a prototype ROM of it earlier this year. And I couldn't get it to work. I could not get it. I tried multiple N64 emulators, could not get it to work, which is unfortunate. But lots of people have gotten it to work, and there's video footage of it out there. And it looks kind of like. Do you remember the Mission Impossible game on the N64?
N64, yeah.
It looks kind of like that. It's got like. It looks like
Pretty
it's
good
got
game,
like
actually.
mission object. Well,
I mean,
Don't
it
go back
wasn't
to it.
GoldenEye, but
don't go back to it. Just play Hitman. Don't
Yeah,
don't
that's
go
true.
back to Mission Impossible now.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that's
hold
true.
up.
That's very true.
Just play it, man. But it looks like it would have been a pretty competent sort of third-person action shooter kind of game. It has multiple characters, which is actually something that I didn't know about it initially. It got announced. There were, like I said, some screenshots, and then it just kind of vanished, which is too bad. But you know, if you want to play what got made, it's out there now. If you can get it to work on an emulator, it actually apparently does boot on a real N64. It's complete enough to go through boot up. So if you have like an EverDrive or the means to flash a ROM chip onto an N64 cartridge, you can play it on actual hardware. And apparently it runs just fine until it doesn't, which is, you know, it's a prototype. It's an unfinished game. That's to be expected. That's not even the only one I have on this list.
There you go.
But yeah, so it was kind of nice to get some closure to that, just to see what it would have been like had it come out. But at the same time, it's also kind of like, I wish this had come out.
Yeah,
Because it
absolutely.
probably would have been a decent game. It certainly looks like it would have been decent for the time.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it would still hold up today, but for what would have been, I think, a 1999 release, looks like it would have been fine.
Very late. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My next one, my number 2, is the game that actually prompted the idea for this list,
Ooh.
and that is Beyond Good and Evil 2,
Uh,
which is not canceled still, apparently.
okay, I'm gonna look. I'm just gonna say it. I don't want Beyond Good and Evil 2 anymore.
No.
I don't have faith that the Ubisoft that exists today could make it a good game.
I don't know what this game has usurped Duke Nukem Forever as the biggest game with the biggest development hell. This is insane how long this game has been.
There have been multiple trailers for multiple iterations of that remake.
And they had a public sign-up to contribute to the game.
Yeah, the thing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. It was like an initiative to have their feedback.
Hit Record. It was called Hit Record.
Really?
I'm almost positive.
Oh, yeah, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah.
And
the website's still up.
Soliciting contributions from the public in exchange for some compensation, but definitely not enough to justify that. Like,
every time there's a Ubisoft conference, I'm like, are they going to show it?
Yeah.
Is it alive?
Here, guys, make the textures for us. That was the moment that I stopped wanting the game, because it was like they're trying to outsource labor to fans now. Fuck you.
There's just, I don't understand what their goal with the game was, because like,
I don't think they understand because it keeps changing its tone.
Yeah, the first time it was basically a direct sequel.
Yeah.
Like, and it seemed that way.
I remember that very clearly. Yeah. It was Jade and fucking, what's the pig's guy name? But they were like on a car.
He was on a road.
On a highway. Yeah.
And then the next iteration was the foul-mouthed
monkey guy
and the spaceships, and then Jade coming out as like a villain. Maybe?
Yeah, and apparently a prequel now.
And it's a prequel. Yeah. It's
what the fuck?
What's happening? And the scope was supposed to be like No Man's Sky level, scope.
Not fucking happening.
I just. They have been asked multiple times over the last couple of years, is this game canceled? And they're like, no, it's still in production.
I feel like they're dangling it over people like, hey, you want Beyond Good and Evil 2? Be sure to support us so that we can make the money that we need to make the game. Like,
right.
You don't need the carrot and stick anymore, Ubisoft. You've got multiple, like, hugely successful franchises.
Massive.
Just fucking, just put it out of its misery. For fuck's sake, stop parading it around. It's freakish, malformed.
I think
fucking eraser head baby body. just
tell us how you really feel. There was an episode with Bailstorm on it where we went to their website to take a look and see what like the latest update was. Oh, it was the Space Monkey program was the name of the
the initiative.
The initiative with the
Hit Record was the company, was Joseph Gordon-Levitt's company that they were working with.
His development team. There has been no update on the website since 2020, so 4 years ago.
I'm surprised it was even that recent.
I mean, 4 years is crazy with no updates. And I'll put it to you this way: the platforms listed for this game are still PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So they're an entire generation behind on their website. Like, no one's looking at this website, but it's still there, and you can still sign up for the program. I just what are you doing? So the website describes Beyond Good and Evil 2 as a spiritual successor to the original.
Oh, a spiritual successor that has a character from the original game in it. Okay.
And then in the same paragraph, it calls it a prequel. What are you guys doing?
Oh my God.
Anyway, that was the original reason that I came up with this idea was this game, because it's such an anomaly.
Just stop, Ubisoft. Just stop. The Weekend at Bernie things, it needs to end.
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one?
So my next one is another N64 game. It is Robotech Crystal Dreams.
Okay.
This is a game that this game always stuck out to me because it got canceled and uncanceled multiple times, and then the developer, they just ran out of money trying to secure a publisher.
Mm.
And it is also a game that had a prototype released from a former developer. But this one I've actually played because I have gotten it to work on an emulator. It's based off the Robotech franchise, which they've been trying to bring that back for a long time, but haven't been super successful at it. Don't ask anime fans about Robotech; you'll make them mad. The company behind Robotech is okay, let me back up and explain. Robotech was a thing in the '80s, and it was a show that was assembled from footage from 3 different Japanese shows. It's kind of like Voltron in that regard. They took the footage and they sort of remixed it, and they're like, okay, this is now a continuous narrative.
Right.
And like to its credit, it's not like badly done. And it's better than, I guess, not getting any anime at all, which was, how it would go a lot in the 80s. But since then, people have wanted the original franchises that this is based on to come out. And the company that holds the Robotech property, a company called Harmony Gold, has basically been holding that back, and people are really upset because the trickle of the Macross franchise, which is the most prominent one, has been, well, just that. It's been a trickle. Like there's so many Macross shows and spin-offs and stuff, and we have almost none of them here. But this game was the first time I'd ever heard of Robotech, and I actually remember after it was eventually canceled a few years later, a Robotech game did come out called Robotech Battle Cry, and I remember seeing that in the video store and going, they finally did it. So I immediately rented it, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, this is Macross. Because at that point, I had become somewhat familiar with the Macross franchise. But it's gameplay-wise, it's fine for an N64 game. It's I hesitate to call it a flight sim, but it is that kind of game, like Colony Wars or X-Wing versus TIE Fighter or Wing Commander. But you have a transforming jet that can go from jet mode to like bipedal robot mode, and then there's also like a halfway mode where it's the jet but it has legs. So people who were into Macross would have probably enjoyed it, but it just it never got across the finish line. But Robotech Battle Cry did, and that's pretty good. And Robotech Invasion is also pretty good. That's more of strictly a first-person shooter. But those games are good, so it's it's not the end of the world that Crystal Dreams did come out. But I feel bad for that team because that was a team that made like a lot of game show games. It seems like they were the ones doing the game conversions of like Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
They were making like Jeopardy for the Super Nintendo or whatever. It's like, hey, here's a real game to make, and it's the one that fucking kills them.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, what's your next one?
So before I get to my next one, I remember the news piece.
Oh,
that I missed.
okay.
And
late news entry.
It's kind of funny because I wore this hat to remind me.
Oh no.
So Santa Monica Studios has confirmed that the new game that they are working on is not God of War. It is a new IP.
Okay.
And that's apparently I can't even wear a hat and remember something.
You just got to put a hat with a sticky note on it that says "Talk about this, dumbass."
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. Nothing really to say on it since we don't really know, other than the only thing we do know is that
it's not God of War.
It's not God of War, and Cory Barlog, who directed the first God of War remake, not Ragnarok, but the one before it, he directed that one. He's the director for the new IP.
Okay.
So that's fantastic.
Yep.
Back to topic of the week. My next one is kind of an announced game, but kind of not. It is announced, but without a name.
Okay.
This is Playdead's next game. So for those that don't know who Playdead is, Playdead released Limbo in 2010.
Oh, yeah.
And they released Inside in 2016. So we are 8 years removed from Inside.
That's quite a while, yeah.
And there's still nothing. And if you go to their website, They have about 14 job postings. So
Okay, that's encouraging. Let's
Yeah.
hire a bunch of people, and we haven't put anything out for 8 years. That's weird.
yeah, very strange. I don't. Maybe the job postings are like, outdated and they just haven't
Yeah,
updated the
they
website.
might be.
But they all they've said is it is a 3D sci-fi game, which
Okay.
I mean, both of their first games were very
Yeah,
sci-fi.
they were side scrollers, side-scrollers.
Side scrollers and sci-fi. So this is their first 3D game, so maybe that's why it's taking them longer to
Yeah, maybe.
adjust to that new.
They're
new
not a
style,
very
but-
big team, are they?
No, I don't think so. Played a studio set.
They might have kind of shot themselves in the foot with an overambitious title.
Well,
Wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
they're more than 70 people.
Oh, well, never mind then. That's plenty.
Mm-hmm.
That's a ton of people.
And that was as of 2023. So
Well,
they
then who the
probably
fuck
hired
knows?
more. I mean, and unless they took too long and they had to lay people off.
Yeah.
But it seems unlikely. I just those first two games are just some of my favorite games of the modern era, and
Yeah.
I really want to see what they're doing now. Where are you, Playdead? It's been 8 years. So it's been almost a decade.
They're playing dead. Obvious joke.
They're playing dead.
Yeah.
Dad
I should
joke
be
of the day.
I should be slapped for that one.
No, I appreciate a good dad joke. I appreciate a good dad joke. All right, what's your number?
Okay, so
3.
number 3. My number 3, I fucking cheated on this one. I'm just gonna say it right now.
No cheating allowed.
But
You're
too bad.
disqualified, sir.
Too bad. You can't disqualify me. I don't quit.
You were
I'm just going to
canceled.
do it anyway. No, but
Yeah.
seriously, the reason I picked this one is because this is a game that did come out. It's also a game I've talked about before.
Star Fox 2?
No.
Okay.
This is but the thing is, the game that came out is so wildly different from what it should have been and from what was planned that
Okay.
I could kind of consider it to almost be a different game. And that game is Quest 64.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'm not going to spend too long on this because we talked about it
Yeah.
before.
The original vision is what you're...
Yeah, the original vision, it had multiple party members. How do
Yeah.
you make a turn-based RPG without party members? I mean, I guess that's Parasite Eve, but then they also said, we'll just make it a third-person,
Action.
like
yeah.
Resident Evil shooter
Yeah.
in the next one, which they did.
Yeah.
And it probably turned out better for it. I actually haven't played a tremendous amount of Parasite Eve 2, but I remember thinking it was fine, at least as good as the first one when I did play. But yeah, man, Quest 64, turn-based, but with one character.
Yeah.
Just such a weird thing.
It was
and
a quarter of a game.
Yeah. And
Very strange.
like the battle system wasn't even bad. You had like a radius that you could move within, and then if there was an enemy nearby in that range, you could attack them. And it would have been really fun. Like it made like a lot of sense. Oh yeah, let's do a 3D RPG and we'll do it like this.
Mhm.
So it's not just, your party and the enemy party lined up taking turns. It's actually moving around the battlefield. That would have been really fun with, 3 or 4 party members.
Yep.
But with one person, it kind of just sucked. So I lament the loss of the initial scope of Quest 64. And that's why it was a game that I think should get a remake, because it did not turn out the way it should have. And it should get another shot. It's been long enough.
It has been long enough. That's true.
I think we could give them a second chance at Quest 64.
if anyone's still alive
Yeah,
from that studio.
I have no idea.
No.
I have no fucking idea. All right, what's your next one?
I'll make my next one really quick. In fact, there's literally nothing to say
Oh,
about this one. Half-Life 2, Episode 3, or Half-Life 3. Next.
yeah. Everything that can possibly be said has been said.
There's nothing to say.
I just
Have
want to go to
nothing
the
say.
I just want to go to the Borealis, man.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that they
it's
never finished
insane.
it. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
You guys have all the fucking money in the world. Make the goddamn game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you're waiting for the next technological revolution. Make it.
Yeah.
You have Unreal Engine 5, which looks freaking just insanely ridiculously good.
Look on Unreal Engine 5. They got Source 2. They
Yeah.
had Half-Life Alyx on it. It looks
Make
great.
Source 3 and then go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do something.
Yeah.
Enough of this, like, Half-Life Alyx, which was probably phenomenal from what I hear, but
Well, I
Like-
mean, the way that it ends, it definitely feels like they were setting up for a continuation of that. They fucking do time shenanigans in that. So
I don't get it, man.
who the fuck knows? All right, my next game.
Yeah. What
This
for?
one is not cheating, but it is also not exactly a non-existent game.
Okay.
That is SimCopter 64. So, SimCity 64 is a game that exists for the 64 disk drive, which means it's
Hmm.
only available in Japan and only came out really late in the
64
N64s.
double D.
Yeah. So SimCopter 64 would have been the SimCopter for SimCity 64. And I love SimCopter on the PC. It's janky as fuck, but it's the appeal of getting to navigate any one of your SimCity 2000 cities in 3D is really what carries the game. It did not carry Streets of SimCity, but SimCopter, absolutely. I would have loved, first of all, I would have loved to have had SimCity 64, and I would have loved to have a SimCopter for SimCity 64. And it looks like it wasn't just a conversion of the game. Like, it looks like it was going to be, from the media of SimCopter 64 that I've found, a new game just with the same title, or effectively the same title, but very different engine and stuff, right? Because it was going to be for the SimCity 64 engine. But that's just one of many things that never happened as a result of the 64 DD.
Yep. Okay. Number 5 for me is a heartbreaker for me. It's a Capcom game,
Oh no.
Mega Man Universe.
Yeah.
Which was their Super Mario Maker. What is it? Super Mario Maker? Is that the name of that series? Yeah, it was basically like that, but for Mega Man.
So, can I confess something to you?
Mhm.
I was going to put Mega Man Legends 3 on this list,
It's on
but I
mine too.
didn't. I didn't because it made me so angry.
Oh, it's ridiculous that they never finished that series.
That is the single most infuriating cancellation of anything. I fucking love the Mega Man Legends game so much.
What is it with companies that won't make the third game?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
There's
Just
a
do
curse.
it. Just fucking do it. I love Mega Man Legends so much.
Hey, we got Shenmue 3. We can get Mega Man Legends 3.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Half-Life 3. It can happen, man.
Because that was worth it.
It happened at least.
It did
was a
happen.
thing.
I'll give him that.
You know,
it did happen.
He made it
Although
happen no matter what.
Did that complete the story? I never played Shenmue
No,
3.
he had plans to make 4 and 5.
You remember when there was talk of Shenmue Online?
Mm-hmm. No, I remember that too.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Yeah,
So,
Mega Man
Mega
Universe.
Man Universe, where they were going to do Mario Maker, but Mega Man Maker.
It was
I feel
apparently
like-
it was finished. And they
Oh.
canceled it to spite some sort of like internal breakup with the Mega Man creator. What was his name?
Oh, I fucking forget.
Itagaki?
No, Itagaki's the Dead or Alive guy. You're talking about the guy who went and made Mighty Number 9, right?
Yeah, that's
Which
it.
is a game
Yeah.
that should have been canceled.
Akira
Oh.
Kudamura? No, Keiji Ifune.
There you go.
Keiji
Yeah.
Ifune. Yeah. But I think they canceled 2 projects under his tutelage, and Mega Man Universe was basically finished. People played it. People were playing it. They were showing it off in conventions and stuff, and Capcom was like,
I feel like
no, fuck you.
we've somehow missed what should have been an obvious market, especially as soon as Nintendo put out Mario Maker and had massive success.
Yeah, why is
Mega
it not
Man
used?
Maker should have been a thing. Sonic Maker should have been a thing.
Zelda
like,
Maker should have been a thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
2D Zelda Maker,
yeah.
which someone else is actually doing that. But
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, this shit started from like ROM hacking. You know, Nintendo saw that there were enough people doing these Super Mario World ROM hacks where they put in their own levels, and they thought maybe we can monetize that.
was Mario Maker for Wii U, or was it for?
Yes.
So
Mario Maker was
how
for
is there
Wii
not
U.
a Mario Maker 3 on the Switch?
Well, there is a there's Super Mario Maker 2 on the Switch.
Oh, they did like a cross-gen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's also there was a 3DS version as well,
Yes.
but I never.
Yeah,
Never.
that genre I thought was going to be just explode,
Yeah,
and then
and it should have.
it didn't even do another game. No one copied them.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Nothing.
Bizarre.
Yeah,
Bizarre.
very weird.
Absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one.
Number 5.
Here we go. My next one is Thornado, aka Turrican 64.
Oh, Turrican. Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Turrican is a fucking fantastic series of side-scrolling shooters, very Contra-esque.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
there were plans to make an N64 entry in the series. However, and this is personal speculation again, but I think I might know why it didn't happen. Do
Okay.
you know who makes Turrican just off the top of your head?
No clue.
Factor 5.
Really?
Remember no, tell me, what were they busy doing on the N?
Weren't they the Rogue Squadron guys?
They were the Rogue Squadron guys. So I can understand if maybe you got the opportunity to work
Just
with the Star Wars license.
Yeah.
And you said, let's put this original thing on the back burner. This is a big deal.
Is Factor 5 around now?
I think they're still around. Let me take a look.
Factor 5 Studio.
No, they're not.
They closed in May 2009 following the closure of Brash Entertainment.
Right.
Who's Brash? Oh,
They made Lair.
They made Lair. That
They
explains
made Lair.
it. That explains it. Yeah.
You saw it and you were like,
Yeah,
we
as
were
soon
both
as I
thinking
saw
the
that
same
product
thing.
name.
Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that explains it.
That would bomb. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would close the studio.
That's not fair, man. You make one bad game, and no, that's not fucking fair. There were so many talented people there,
Yeah.
and didn't Lair get better after a patch? Like, didn't it actually
They
start
added
to?
controls to just play it with the controller and not the 6-axis. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
didn't
still
that
wasn't
make?
great, but
Oh, it
was
still
better.
wasn't great. No, that's too bad.
Yeah. It went from like a 4 to like a 6, maybe.
Oh, that's
You know
not
what I
good
mean?
enough. That's not good enough for such an
Actually,
early
4 is probably
PS3 game.
generous. It probably
Oh,
went from a 3 to a
Jesus.
5.
Oh God. Yeah,
It was
times
passable
were
at that point, but
times were rough in the like first year of the PS3's life.
Yeah.
That was rough.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean they made Rogue Squadron, they made Battle for Naboo, and then they made Rogue Leader on the GameCube, and then what was the third Rogue Squadron game called? It doesn't matter. It wasn't as good.
No.
They tried doing on foot stuff, and that was a bad idea.
Reminds me of Star Fox when they did that.
No, Star Fox Assault had better on foot stuff than
Oof,
Rogue Squadron 3.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was not good. It was great when you were flying around. It was awesome, but
Mhm.
then you got out of the X-Wing and it was like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
mean, fucking Turrican, play Super Turrican 1 and 2 on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, those are fantastic games.
They're absolutely flawless games. Like
That's
they're
a series
basically
that should come back. if
they're
anything.
basically perfect action games. They're so fucking good.
Absolutely.
And it would have been awesome to have one of those on the N64. I mean, 3D, like going from 2D to 3D was tough back then because most people didn't know how to make 3D games yet. But I mean, these are the guys who made Rogue Squadron. So if there was anybody who could have pulled it off, it would have been them.
Yep.
But like it, like I said, if they put it on the back burner and just never got to it in order to make 2 really good Star Wars games,
Understandable.
understandable. Not the end of the world.
All right, my number 6 is Star Wars 1313.
Yeah.
This was the LucasArts game that looked very Uncharted-like. It only had one gameplay reveal of him in a ship, or your character in a ship, going down into this pit where Section 1313, I think it was called, something like that. Very cool looking. It was canceled after Disney purchased. I think it was it Lucas?
Yeah,
Was that
LucasArts.
Yeah.
Well, they bought Lucasfilm, so that includes everything there.
Disney bought them and they shut down all gaming stuff immediately. And
Yeah.
that includes Star Wars 1313, which is just insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, that could have been great. Could have been fantastic. But, we've gotten some pretty decent Star Wars games out of the new Disney license, so I'm not super mad about it. The Jedi series is fantastic. We have Outlaws coming out in a couple of weeks, which hopefully will be great as well. I'm not going to comment on the Battlefront remakes, but
Well, yeah.
that's a whole other story. But yeah, Star Wars 1313 could have been amazing.
God, I remember there were a whole bunch of. I mean, they were sort of concepts for upcoming Star Wars games, but there were a whole bunch of them that just never happened.
Yep. 100%.
So, my
Number
next
6.
game, I'm actually going to drop a link in the chat and it's like half an hour long. I don't expect you to watch the whole thing because we're recording, but maybe just open it up and mouse through it. Take a look at a minute or so of footage. This is one of the games that I discovered
Dragon Sword.
that I didn't even know about. It's called Dragon Sword for the N64, and it is an action game. It is a 3D like hack and slash game.
Almost has a
and
Zelda look to it, like
almost
a
a
Ocarina
Zelda
of
look.
Time.
It's sort of, but it has a surprising number of like really well done animations
Mhm.
and visually very impressive for the N64. Now
This was only a prototype.
Yeah, so it's footage I've shown you. This is clearly recorded from an emulator because it's at 720p.
Yeah, it should not look this
So
good.
this isn't running on real hardware. So
That's
it may
true.
not have run as smooth as it does here. But like this is the level of detail it would have had in the game, like the level of polygonal detail and texture detail.
Mhm.
This is really good for an N64 game.
As long as
And-
it had lock-on combat. That's the only
Yeah.
thing. If it didn't,
Yeah.
then this would be garbage.
Yeah, but like
it's just a lot of wandering.
The amount of maneuvering that you can do, like there's it's actually, I don't know if it's in this video, but there's another video that I saw. There's multiple characters in this game, by the
Oh, okay.
way.
It's almost like Gauntlet in that way.
Yeah.
Huh.
Had like
Oh yeah, I see
it's
it.
not
Yeah, you're
just
like a big green dude now.
yeah,
towards the
so
end of the video.
it's not just the different sword swing animations, but like I've seen like martial arts moves that
Oh, yeah.
move you in
Yeah.
a different direction. Like there's like a back elbow to hit enemies behind you, like you throw the elbow back to hit a guy who's behind you. There's like a sideways flip kick that actually moves you. It's got
Oh yeah, there's
tech.
4 different
It's-
characters. You can play a
It's like
chicken.
I don't want to say quite Devil May Cry-ish, but it's got attacks that also serve movement purposes in an N64 game.
And it
like-
had co-op.
Like,
Who was the developer? It's Interactive Studios. Who's that? Interactive Studios. That's a terrible
Yeah.
name.
yeah.
Interactive Studios.
And it was going to be published by MGM Interactive. And this was apparently also going to come out on PC and PlayStation. I have no idea how they would have managed this on the PlayStation, but like, it looks really good. Like, this would have been, I think, a lot of fun. And that's why it pissed me off so much when I discovered this, because like now I've got a whole new thing to look back on and go, no, we should have got that.
The only game that Interactive Studios ever made was Glover,
Oh, okay. Well,
the 3D
They can
platformer
all
where
be-
you're
yeah,
glove.
yeah. They can't all be winners.
They can't. No. All right.
But this looks like it would
Yeah,
have
it looks
been
really
one.
good. Yeah. No, it looks good for the time for sure.
All right. So what's your next one?
Number 7, going through my list here. I can't not mention this one. So this one actually had 2 names during its
Okay.
development. Ruin and Warrior's Lair were
I
its
feel like
names.
I've heard of this.
So this is a Vita game, and it was like a Diablo type of game. It was
Oh.
super, like in the media, lots of coverage, constantly.
Yeah, I did hear about
And
this.
then it just kind of randomly got canceled, and I don't think there was ever an explanation as to why.
Yeah,
let me
just
look
like
it
there
up
was
real
never an
quick.
explanation for the Vita getting canceled.
And maybe that was specifically
Yeah.
why it was
I mean,
canceled.
maybe it, they said there's no Vita support from Sony anymore. I mean, that's what happened with Bloodstained. Bloodstained came
here
out
it
on
is.
everything except for the Vita and the Wii U because those were discontinued by the time it came out.
Okay, I remember this now. Okay, so it was actually a Vita game and a PS3 game that had cross play.
Oh,
So
that
you
would've
could-
been cool.
Yeah, so you can play it on the PlayStation 3 when you're at home.
Like Dragon's
Bring-
Crown.
Yeah, and bring it with you when you're on your Vita.
Yeah.
And it was a first-party studio game developed by Sony. I'm not sure what studio was making it. I'd have to look that up.
Might it have been Japan Studio when they got shut down?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I also don't know why it was renamed either. Deck 9.
Again, it might have been difficulty securing a trademark.
Right. Yeah, so
'Cause
Deck 9 in San Diego, Sony
Oh,
San
okay.
Diego, which Sony San Diego I think was closed. Oh, maybe
Yeah,
not. They have a
that-
website still.
That would have been a good fit for that because, like we've said before, Diablo 3 is fucking incredible on the Switch.
Oh, Sony San Diego is the MLB The Show guys.
That's a weird. There's a weird team to give that project to. Well, unless it was something that they wanted to do.
They've made a lot of weird stuff over the years, but that's been their main focus most of the time. They also
Yeah.
made like Starblood Arena, Drawn to Death. Remember Drawn to Death?
Yeah.
Killstrain, Little Big Planet, the kart racer, Little Big Planet karting, or whatever it was called.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I got Little Big Planet. Do you remember that Sony hack that happened like 15 years ago now?
Where their whole network went down for about,
Yeah.
like a month.
And they
Yes.
gave out like a bunch of free games
Yes.
as a the games that I redeemed were Infamous and Little Big Planet. And let me tell you, I did not play a lot of Little Big Planet.
No, I didn't like it. It was not a good platformer. The
Yeah.
only reason that game survived was because of the level
Oh, the
building.
editor was super powerful,
Yeah.
but the jumping was like weird.
The jumping was
floaty,
awful.
and not in a good
How do
way.
you screw that up? It's like the main mechanic of your game, and
Yeah,
your jumping sucks.
You make a platformer and you make getting to platforms not feel awesome.
And then they made two more games and didn't fix it.
Was there a PSP or was it a Vita game? There was a portable
Probably a Vita one. Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least Nintendo had Mario Maker, which is a massive success, as we said.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely copied that. But yeah, Ruin / Warriors Lair, rest in peace. Don't know what the hell happened to you. You were so far along in development, and it looked amazing. And the previews were great.
Yeah.
I
So-
couldn't find a reason.
I don't want to get in the habit of this, but I'm going to link you another video for my next game because this is one that I think you would have really liked.
Okay.
This is another one I discovered. It's called Toon Panic. And it's like a 4-player. It kind of looks like Power Stone.
Oh, you don't say Power Stone, man.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah, I know. And like a 4-player kind of arena fighter. It's simpler than Power Stone. It's not as complex, but it almost looks kind of like a more advanced Mario Party mini game. Like it's like that, but with some fighting game mechanics. And it looks like it would have been really fun. Like, can you imagine all the sleepovers and birthday parties
Like Final
That-
Fantasy characters.
that
Who's
would have been enriched by a game like this? Like, it just,
Wow, this does look like Power Stone.
yeah. Yeah, it just looks like it
Panic.
looks like it would have been a neat game, and it looks like it was pretty far along. Like, this is fairly detailed looking.
I don't know why there was pictures of Final Fantasy characters in there. I don't
Oh,
know
it
if
might have
they're,
been like
placeholders.
placeholder assets or
That's
something.
so funny. I was like, oh, you get to play as the queen from Final Fantasy VIII?
Dude, yeah, that's weird. Dude, that's not even the weirdest placeholder I've seen. So the Duke Nukem Forever, like 2001, that leaked like a fucking however long ago that was. It feels like it was only last year, but I think it was probably 2021. That had porn in
Oh, good lord.
in the game as placeholder assets. Just
Never meant for
straight up,
public consumption.
yeah, just straight up pornography.
Good lord.
Um,
Oh yeah, look, there's
so-
Tifa. Why is
Yeah.
Tifa there? Character select.
Yeah,
Tifa.
there's I got Zell from Final Fantasy VIII as one of the placeholder pictures,
Oh, that's so weird.
and there's Renoa also from Final Fantasy VIII. But yeah, it looks like it would have been a
Yeah, it looks
decent,
fun.
like, fun little party game.
The fact that they've never made like a Power Stone spiritual successor by anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like Sega. Like, but yeah, it is weird that Sega never made Power Stone 3, but
I think that's a Capcom game, but it was on the Dreamcast.
oh, was it really? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm pretty sure it was a
Capcom?
Capcom game.
Bros, what's going on?
Yeah,
Bring that back.
yeah. So
Okay.
Toon Panic, man, it looks like it would have been. I mean, maybe not like absolute classic, but I think that would have been fun.
For sure.
I think that could have been a really cool game.
What are we on? 8?
All right.
Or was that,
Now,
was,
after you,
that your 7 or is that 1, 2, 3?
that was my 7th, yes.
Okay, so I'm
That
on
is also the end of the N64 games.
Wait a minute.
I had
1,
8,
2.
but I took one of them off because when I looked into it, so the other N64 game I had was Dinosaur Planet, which got turned into Star Fox
Star Fox
Adventures.
Adventures.
And when I
Okay.
looked into it, it turns out it looks like the original Dinosaur Planet wasn't actually that different from what finally came out.
It's not. It's basically the same thing. They
Yeah,
just
and so
asset swaps. Yeah.
once I found that out, I was like, okay, that probably
Kinda doesn't
doesn't
count.
really
Yeah.
doesn't fit on my list.
I'm trying to pick. I only have 2 left. I have so many. Scrolling.
The suspense.
All right. There's definitely going to be a few that I want to name afterwards. We don't have
Sure.
to talk about
Oh
them
yeah,
in-
absolutely.
We're already
Name
at
'em all.
2 hours, so I don't want to
Yeah.
discuss all of them, but I can name them. But my last one, my number 9 will be this one also had 2 names.
Oh yeah.
Donkey Kong Racing, also known as Diddy Kong Racing Adventure. So this was the sequel to Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out on the GameCube, and just never did.
Yeah. Diddy
And
Kong
Diddy
Racing
Kong
was
Racing
great.
is it's one of my maybe my second favorite race kart racer of all time.
Yeah, if you'd asked me like back then, could you top Mario Kart 64? I would have said no. And then Diddy Kong Racing came out, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're neck and neck for me.
Well,
man.
that's. I like Diddy Kong Racing a little bit more, but that's just because it's got more in it. It's got like
yeah, I don't know
planes
why
and
that game
boats.
gets a lot of hate online. Whenever I talk
Really?
to people, whenever I talk to people, they're
I've
like, that game
never
sucks.
seen anybody say anything negative about
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Everyone
It's
I
so
talk
weird.
to, they're like, Mario Kart blows it out of the water, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
I mean, if they're talking about modern Mario Kart, sure. Like
Oh,
Mario
no,
Kart 8 has like flying stuff as well, but for back then,
I'd even personally, I would put Diddy Kong Racing up against modern Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8's fantastic. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful, but
yeah.
there's something about Diddy Kong Racing, between the adventure mode and the battle mode's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The upgradable weapons where if you go through multiple of the same color, you'll upgrade your weapon. Like that's. I don't know. I
So
like
it's
that.
funny that you bring up Diddy Kong Racing because I actually considered putting a game that was going to be a spin-off from Diddy Kong Racing on my list.
Timba.
Timber.
Timber
yes.
64.
They were gonna make a game about the tiger, but it never happened.
Probably a good idea on
yeah.
their part, I think.
Because Conker showed up in Diddy Kong Racing before
Yes.
Conker's Bad
I think
Fur
that's
Day.
what the shift was. I think they shifted from Timba
Yeah.
to Conquer.
Yeah. I was also gonna put Conker's 12 Tales on there, but that just got turned into Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
originally
they
Conquer 64 was like just him being the generic Conquer.
Yeah.
Funny character.
It was gonna be family friendly.
Yeah.
And then they said, nah.
They literally said fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's your number 9?
Oh, it's not my number 9, it's my number 8.
Did we skip one? Did we skip someone? Let me count again.
No?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You
8,
went
9.
first, remember?
So-
I'll do mine, and then you'll do yours, and then I'll do my last one. Math is hard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because you went first. All right, so my number 8 is Shakan, the Forever Man for Dreamcast. So
Shakan.
Shakan was a comic book.
I know, that rings a bell. That's why I'm...
It was also a Genesis game. It is one of the hardest fucking games on the Genesis.
I spell it?
It's insane. Chakan. It is a pretty good, ridiculously hard game on the Genesis.
I type Shakan and the first thing that comes up is Save the Dreamcast. That's so funny.
So they were going to make a Dreamcast game based on this character who is a sword fighter who declared himself so good that he could best death itself. And then the Grim Reaper says, really, motherfucker? You want to put that to the test? So they did, and Shakan won. And the Grim Reaper says, okay, you think you can beat death? Fine. Let's see how you enjoy eternal life. Not eternal youth, eternal life. So as the years go by, he turns into a very withered, practically a zombie, and now he's looking for a way to die. And Death says, "I'll let you die, but you have to kill all the evil people for me." And the thing is, the original comic has the quote unquote end of the story, as well as the beginning of it. But basically, the way that the original comic ends is Shakan kills all of the bad people, and says, "Take me, Death." And Death's like, I said kill all the bad people. I didn't say kill all the bad people on this planet. I said all the bad people. There's an entire universe of bad people out there in the cosmos. You gotta get all of them, bro. So they turned that into a Genesis game, which is insanely hard. Like I said, pretty good. But hard.
I remember the name, so I looked up the Genesis game, and one of the first links that comes up is an article from IGN that says, "Screw this game."
Yeah.
Hardcore gamers praise it for street cred. Apparently, hardcore means hating fun.
It's tough. It's
Yeah.
actually, once you learn it, it's doable.
Yeah.
It takes time to
So
learn.
it's the original Souls-like, is what you're telling me.
It's very unforgiving.
That's
It's very unforgiving. There's lots of places where you can fall and lose a lot of progress. It's also kind of maze-like in some levels. But anyway, it's not a bad game. And I think it could only have been improved by combat in 3D. And they apparently agreed because that same developer started working on a sequel for the Dreamcast, which never came out, which probably has a lot to do with the death of the Dreamcast.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a lot of stuff on the Dreamcast that didn't end up coming out for the Dreamcast because Sega discontinued the Dreamcast. Gun Valkyrie was another one. That came out on the Xbox. I actually like that game quite a lot, even though it's... Well, we were talking about a future topic before the show. I don't know if that goes on that particular list, but...
It's close, I would say.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting for that list, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to think about that one because that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see, my last one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with another Capcom game.
Okay.
Pragmata. This is probably the newest game on all
what the
this.
fuck happened to that game?
This was that weird, almost Kojima-like style game where it just showed this like
little girl
with the space astronaut
You
on the
need
moon
you
looking at
need
the
to
planet.
look up a movie called Angel's Egg because
Angel's Egg.
it's an anime movie that every time I see something about Pragmata, I think this is just Angel's Egg, the video game.
Well, the only thing you've seen from Pragmata is the reveal trailer. Nothing
Yeah.
else has come out. From
Well,
that
I mean,
game.
whenever somebody brings it up
Yeah.
and makes me think of it, I go like, oh yeah, it's that.
I'm gonna look up when this game was revealed because it's been a while.
Yeah.
It was revealed as a PS5.
Well, it's still in season then.
Maybe not exclusive. It's listed on the Xbox website as well.
Okay.
June 2020. It was announced at the PlayStation 5 reveal event. That's why.
Oh.
So a little strange that they revealed that game 4 years ago and then nothing since.
Yeah, I typed in Pragmata into Wikipedia and it just gave me a list of Capcom games.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have its own Wikipedia page.
No, there's nothing about this game because we don't know anything about this. We don't even know what
yeah.
genre of game it is. We've seen
Yeah.
just the cinematic trailer. I think this is one of those games that PlayStation was revealing the PlayStation 5 and went to all of the major developers and said, you have to have something on our show. And so Capcom was like, shit. Well, we have this concept over here. All right, let's make that into a trailer.
No,
and
that's dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's
That's a
probably what
dangerous
happened.
move to make.
I bet you they hadn't even started working on the game.
Yeah.
when they announced that. So, those are-
Okay. So I have a number 9 and a number 10. So
Yeah, I don't know how you have two in a row.
yeah, that's weird.
You're one behind.
Like I said, math is hard. Well, one game isn't going to take me very long to talk about because I've talked about it before, and I've said that I'll talk about it whenever I get the opportunity. And that game is True Fantasy Life Online, an MMORPG slated for the original Xbox, made by Level 5 in conjunction with Microsoft. It was going to be Microsoft's foot in the door to Japan, and then it didn't fucking happen. Relationships apparently broke down. Supposedly it's Microsoft's fault. We talked about this. History repeated itself with Scalebound, which I would have put on the list, except we know what happened to that game.
It is on my list.
Yeah.
That I didn't choose it because of that. But yeah.
Yeah. So then my last one. This was also going to be an Xbox game. It's called Citizen Zero.
Okay.
This was also going to be an online game, but it was going to be an online shooter.
I thought you were going to say Brute Force 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, hold on a second.
Oh, no.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I was looking at it and I thought this looks pretty good. You know what? It almost kind of looks like. And then I noticed a mention in one of the articles I was reading about it that it was apparently it was described as being like an online version of Brute Force.
Oh, cool.
And what I looked at, the like gameplay stuff I looked at, yeah, it looked a lot like Brute Force. It looked like an online multiplayer Brute Force, which
Could be great.
again, another game that we will always talk about. Punch off that bingo card. Yeah. Oh, man. It looked like it was really close to being done, or at least close enough that it looked close enough to being
Far
done.
along. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was another one that made me really angry. You should look that up. I drop a link to it, but there's so much that and it'll just you'll want to dive into it. You'll want to take the time to
Okay.
dive into it. It's yeah.
Sure. And what's your 10?
Um,
Or your 10? Yeah.
that was my 10.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So
okay.
tell me some of yours that didn't quite make the
Yeah,
cut.
so I'll rapid fire some of these off. I don't have a lot to say about most of them, but we'll fire them off real quick.
Yeah.
Agent,
Agent.
the Rockstar game that was supposed to come out for PlayStation 3.
I'd never even heard of that.
What? That's a
No.
legendary MIA game. Yeah, it
No.
was a GTA like where you play as a spy. They never showed gameplay. They only showed a logo at one of PlayStation's events.
Oh, that's probably why I don't pay attention to the events. I
okay.
wait for the gameplay reveal trailers and then
Gotcha.
watch those. So that would be why.
Silent Hills, which we all know was canceled because
yeah,
of Kojima.
that's another one I didn't put on my list because it was going to make me angry.
Yeah, Deep Down.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It's the Souls-like from Capcom that never happened.
Oh yeah,
StarCraft Ghost.
that was going to be on my list, but I was like, you're going to have it on your list.
I was toying with the idea.
Yeah. I was actually a little surprised that you didn't name it as one of your 10.
It's kind of one of the obvious ones. So I was trying to go to like more interesting.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I also
To
wanted
scale
to. I mean,
bound. That was another.
aside from the Quest 64 thing, which I already talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, StarCraft Ghost. It's but it's
Dante
also
wants to make an appearance.
there's the cat, of course. But I also like it's a sort of Beyond Good and Evil 2 situation where like even if it got revived, I don't think I'd want the Blizzard that exists today to make it.
Yeah, exactly. Titanfall 3 was in
Yeah.
production and got canceled after they pivoted to Apex Legends.
Yeah, but I mean, they got 2 games out and they were both critically acclaimed, and Apex Legends is doing really well for them, so
And Titanfall 3 might still happen.
it could still happen.
It's
you know?
theoretically possible.
Yeah.
Fez 2, the actual developer canceled it himself.
He rage quit
Yeah, he was like, "Screw
development
it."
of the game.
The
Yeah.
gaming community is a bunch of assholes.
Like,
It's,
I mean, he's not wrong.
No.
There are a lot of assholes, but you know what would be a better way to prove the assholes and haters wrong? Not throwing a bitch fit and
Yeah, exactly.
quitting your game. Like, don't get me wrong. If you got to do that, like if
Take
you
the low
can't
road.
handle the stress, better to do that.
Oh yeah, for
but
sure. If it was a mental
to-
health problem, then
To
yeah,
make
yeah.
it like such a dramatic thing, all you're doing is giving your haters more fuel. Like,
Yeah, exactly. You gave the trolls what they wanted.
yeah, like Phil Fish just handled that in like the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Like the only time I could think of anybody maybe handling it worse is Jonathan Blow when he saw footage of Soulja Boy playing Braid
Yep.
and not enjoying it in the way that Jonathan Blow thought it should be appreciated. Like, dude, he's fucking playing your game and having a ball. What more do you want?
We didn't talk about him and his comments about the Braid remake.
Yeah, I look. The less I think attention that's given to Jonathan
Yeah.
Blow, the better.
He's a
That guy
strange
wants
guy.
that guy just wants attention.
The next one was the Time Splitters reboot, which was canceled
Oh,
because of
yeah.
Embracer, which
Yeah,
also kind of prompted this discussion.
yeah,
Earthbound 6.
yeah. But that came out as Mother 3 on the Game Boy Advance.
I mean, how could they possibly be the same game? One's got to be 3D, right?
Well, it's not 3D, but it is the same story.
Oh, okay.
You can
So it was
see
morphed.
it was morphed into a 2D game. I was gonna put that on there initially, but I thought no. I've compared. Oh, the cat's back. I've compared
It's been
what
too
was
long. He wants attention.
I've compared what was shown for Earthbound 64 to what I've played in Mother 3, and it's pretty much all there. So
Gotcha.
it just got turned into a 2D game.
This one I'm surprised you didn't have on your list. Final Fantasy 64. We saw screenshots of this game.
I was
in-
going to put that on, except that was
Nintendo.
only ever a tech demo. That was
Oh,
just
okay.
that
'Cause
was
it was in Nintendo Power. They showed it off, and then
yeah, that was well, that wasn't even running on N64 hardware. That was an SGI workstation. That was purely a tech demo, and I was like, it would be cool to bring this up, but it doesn't really
It
count
doesn't
because
fit.
it was never going to be a game. It was just a demonstration of here's what our next generation game
do.
could look like.
Dungeon Keeper 3.
Yeah.
Dungeon Keeper 2 was fantastic.
Yeah.
This one is a very nobody knows about this game, but Velvet Dark. So this was
So that's a funny one. I was gonna put that on my list.
yeah, this the
but
Perfect Dark spinoff.
I couldn't find enough on it to justify putting it on the list.
So I for the research that I did for this game, I found a website that compiles concept art and all kinds of like canceled project stuff on it.
Is it Unseen 64?
No, it's for
No?
it's for like every console. It's like
Well, Unseen 64 does every console. It was just started for N64 games. Hence
let me look it up and see if that's the one I was. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Unseen 64 was a big resource for me. CRF, the Cutting Room Floor, was another one that I used. There are numerous places that. And the other thing is that Perfect Dark did eventually get a sequel. It got Perfect Dark Zero. So
well, this was a spin-off. It wasn't a sequel. It was like a third-person game starring her sister.
Starring her sister, yeah. I didn't know it was third person. Okay.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
I probably should have dug deeper on that one.
It didn't leave the
proof of concept phase.
No, it was out of concept. It was like not tech demo. It was like
vertical slice kind of thing.
Yeah. They made a vertical slice and were presenting it as an idea. It didn't get approved.
Yeah. That happens.
Yeah. Conker's Other Bad Day, which is a sequel to Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Right, I remember that.
That got canceled after Microsoft bought Rare. And Conker Getting Medieval was also another sequel that got Skies of Arcadia 2 got canceled by Sega.
Yeah.
This one I found and I had no idea it existed, but Legend of Zelda Sheik was a spin-off Zelda game where you played as a member of the Sheik tribe.
Oh, okay.
It's on that website on Scene64. There's like screenshots and everything. It's crazy.
Okay.
Eternal Darkness 2 was in development.
Yeah.
This is a big one. 6 Days in Fallujah.
Yeah.
That got canceled because cancel culture.
Well, I would not have been thrilled at that game. Like, it's one thing to make a game based on real world events. It's another thing to say this is based on real world events and then make up a bunch of stuff.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Which
the idea of the game was good.
The idea,
they screwed up the execution. Yeah.
The idea, if it had come out and been an honest thing that didn't try to whitewash what happened, then it would have been fine. Because then it would have been like Spec Ops: The Line, right? Which everyone praises for telling a hard to swallow story. Yeah, 6 Days of Fallujah could have been a slam dunk if it had been willing to.
It was pretty far along, from what I understand.
Yeah,
too.
if it had been willing to, be honest about what happened, but no, they wanted to. Yeah, they wanted to paint the United States military in a more charitable light than reality in that particular case.
America.
Yeah, that's the game they were like promoting as Mario Kart for grown-ups.
Yeah. So I loved Blur. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Gorgeous visuals.
Nothing bad about it. Just kind of a weird marketing campaign.
Yeah. It was a weird marketing campaign, but
it's not Toad, but it's definitely Toad.
Blur is one of those games that are trapped.
Yeah.
On PS3 and can't get off of it.
Yeah.
Because I love that game. So good.
Yeah. Along with MGS4.
Yes.
And I guess Lair, but nobody gives two fucks. We've established that.
And Folklore. Bunch of others.
Yeah.
The KOTOR remake.
What the fuck is happening with that?
It got moved between developers, so Jesus. Who knows?
Maybe they should give it to Larian.
That could be crazy good. Don't even put that in my brain.
It's there now.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe
that's their next project.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're not working on D&D Baldur's Gate 4. They got KOTOR.
Yeah,
it seems
that would be cool. The cat agrees.
Yeah, he's very hyper right now. Apologies if it's loud. The next Mass Effect game.
Yeah.
We know that it's coming after Dragon Age Veilguard. Yeah. Which also got a release date. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah. They were talking about that.
I think it's November, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, apparently it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks good to me.
I heard a lot of optimism from it when I was looking through news articles.
Yeah, the initial gameplay reveal got a lot of negativity because they were compared. It's very Mass Effect-y. Like they
Yeah.
basically took Mass Effect and were like, let's apply it to Dragon Age, which is fine
Yeah.
with me because Mass Effect's amazing.
Yeah.
But it didn't sit well with the hardcore Dragon Age.
That's basically what happened to me with Resident Evil 6. I'm
Oh
like,
God!
they want to turn Resident Evil into an action game? Sure, okay.
And
But
then you played it.
most people aren't looking for that. They're looking for a survival horror
Did you
game.
like 6?
I love 6.
Oh my God! I hate
But
that game so much.
I'm fine. That's the thing. I love it. I absolutely understand why people hate it. It's not
I
a
like
survival
the
horror game.
mercenaries mode in it, but I don't like.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Everybody agrees that Mercenaries mode is fantastic because Mercenaries mode is supposed to be the action gameplay.
They should have made
They
that.
basically made the whole. They did on the 3DS. There was a whole dedicated Mercenaries
I
game.
don't want a 3DS. Come on,
Yeah,
full console game.
yeah. The problem is they made the whole game feel like Mercenaries
Yeah,
mode, which I was fine with because they kind of tried to do that with Resident Evil 5 and it didn't work because it was still like really slow and sluggish. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, if they're going to do that, it's got to be fast paced. And they did that for 6. And I was like, yeah, okay.
For sure.
But that's not what the majority of people wanted. But what I want out of a game where I shoot zombies is different from what most people want.
Yeah, that's
You
fair.
know?
But yeah, we know Mass Effect.
Maybe if they'd released Operation Raccoon City before Left 4 Dead instead of after,
Ugh.
maybe we'd be looking at a very different world.
Yeah, but we know that Mass Effect Next is coming after Dragon Age, so I guess
So-
we'll expect it in the next year or two.
Here's my question: is that going to be a sequel to Andromeda?
No, well, we don't really know because they've teased Liara in the game, so
Okay.
it seems like it's going to be a sequel to 4.
So they're just going to say,
Well, I
Whatever.
mean, we'll see if that game even gets made because,
yeah.
to me, Dragon Age Veilguard is like BioWare's last chance. They've had too many screw ups. Anthem, and what was the one before Anthem? Andromeda, probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we can hold Anthem against them. That's clearly
We
EA
can't,
managed.
but EA can.
Well, EA can and will, but
Yeah.
the thing is that Anthem is absolutely EA's fault for
Oh, yeah,
saying we
100%.
need a live service shooter now.
Yeah.
And
Let's
pushing
give
it
it.
on
Let's give that
BioWare.
project to our RPG team. That's
Yeah.
amazing at making single player games. Fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Sounds like
fucking,
Warner Brothers making Rocksteady do that. Suicide Squad.
it's just a
Just
a
stupid people, man.
travesty.
It seems like every company did that, and even Sony did it. They gave Naughty Dog the Last of Us Online live service game project, and then they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, we made a mistake
Yeah.
and canceled it." Like, you stupid idiot. Little Devil Inside.
Oh yeah.
Apparently that game's still coming. Why? Like, where did it go?
Yeah.
Wolf Among Us 2. That was
Oh,
announced like 4
yeah.
years ago, I think.
I don't think that's happening now.
Well, it's supposed to come out this year.
Really?
It has a release date of 2024.
Did
so
did they pass that along to somebody else?
Oh
Following
no,
the
no!
Telltale
This is the new
closure?
Telltale.
Oh,
So
okay.
Telltale
so
reopened.
they reformed and okay.
Yeah, they released The Expanse, a game already.
Oh,
and
okay.
this was supposed to be their next one, but it's been a while.
Okay. All right.
Everwild. This was Rare's next game.
Oh, I remember hearing about this.
Just-
Yeah.
Never heard of anything after that, so we still don't really know what Rare's doing other than focusing on Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
And I have 2 more. Mina the Hollower, which is the Game Boy Zelda-like made by the Shovel Knight team.
Okay.
It looked fantastic. And then this one's just a joke. I just put this.
Sure.
It's hilarious. Abandoned.
yeah.
I cannot believe that is a thing that happened. I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
This guy schmooshed his way onto the PlayStation 5 showcase
Mhm.
and he had never had any intention of making a game.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
There's some
Crazy.
weird quality control issues that I don't
No,
understand.
I'm completely baffled how that.
And it's not just a Sony thing either. Like Nintendo, we've talked about this. Nintendo's
the
got
friggin'
tons of
eShop. Oh, my
horse shit on their online
But
store.
at least they don't showcase most of this shit on their digital
Yeah.
events. This was on like their showcase, like a big showcase. They're like
Yeah.
abandoned, and in all of the Kojima references and all that shit. Like, how did nobody at Sony go? They must have figured it out at some
Mhm.
point. And at no point did they come out and be like, "Yeah, this game's bullshit. We got scammed. this guy's an idiot. You know,
Yeah.
the dude did like so many interviews, and that game
Yeah.
just it never was real. Vaporware, I think they call it.
Yeah. Maybe it'll come out on the Phantom. Remember the fucking Phantom?
Oh, the Phantom. Oh my god, the Phantom. Oh my god, that's a deep cut.
That's my number 11. That's my bonus.
The Phantom.
The Phantom.
Hey, as long as we're on that topic, the re-release of the Intellivision.
Oh, the Amico.
So yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Tommy Tallarico, I love
Tommy
you, man.
Tallarico.
But what the
Yeah.
hell happened there, man? Holy shit! That thing was like ready to launch, and then it disappeared.
Dude is fucking insane.
That's so crazy to me. I would love to be a wasp on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my list. That was all of them.
All right.
Crazy.
So now we have 20 questions, and this week I have selected the game because fuck the AI. It's fucked us too many times.
Indeed it has.
So I have selected a game. I've selected a game that you could conceivably know of.
Conceivably.
I considered a hard mode version, but then the game that I had in mind was like it would have been way too hard.
Okay. So this is highly likely that I can get
This is highly likely.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
This is not a game from before either of us were born, and then we're on some obscure.
It's not shovelware. It's nothing.
It's not some fucking
It's not
weirdo
some
like
$9 Steam game.
LCD handheld game.
Okay. All right.
That was only sold in the Eastern Bloc.
Okay. All right. Then let me start things off with the typical. Did this game release on or after January 1st, 2000? Okay, this is an early game. Okay.
Do you want to keep track of this in the chat for yourself?
Well, I'm pretty good at this.
Okay.
I play this game with some friends of mine. So I'm pretty good at this. Okay. Did this game release on or after 1990? January 1st, 1990.
Yes.
Okay, so we're a 90s game. Okay. Is this a 2D game?
Yes.
Was this developed by Nintendo or Sega? So it's not a first party. Well, I mean, it could be PlayStation. I should have asked that. Shit. No, it's a 2D game.
There are 2D games on
There's
PlayStation.
2D games on PlayStation. Mm-hmm. I don't think there were any 2D first party PlayStation game. Okay, I need to narrow it down more. Okay.
It's so much fun.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't even want to comment why it's so fun, because it'll be a hint.
Okay. I'm trying to get inside your mind. What you would pick?
Oh, that's a dangerous place to go,
I don't
my
want
friend. You don't want to get lost in there.
That's a scary place. The Mind Palace of Andrew. Okay, I'm gonna go genre. I'm gonna name you 3 genres.
Okay.
To say yes or no to, all at the same time. So
Yeah.
is this a brawler, RPG, or side scroller?
Yes.
Okay. Is this a brawler? Okay. Is this an RPG? Shit. It's a lot of wasted questions. Okay, so we got a side scroller.
That narrows it down a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of side scrollers. Did this originally release on the Super Nintendo?
Yes.
Yeah, Super Nintendo side scroller from the 90s. I mean, they would all be from this. It wasn't developed by Nintendo. We could be looking at Contra 3. We could be looking at, it was 2D, but it was on the Super Nintendo. Okay. For whatever reason, my brain went to Mischief Makers. That was a 64 game. That was
yeah, good game though.
Yeah, not bad.
Well, that should have been on my remake list. Actually, that game just needs updated graphics and it'll be fine.
Just remaster that.
Mischief Makers HD.
Can you imagine
Shake in 4K, baby.
the hype? I'm going into my Mind Palace. A
Yep.
2D side scroller, not developed by Nintendo, but released on the Super Nintendo.
Yes.
Was it exclusive to the Super Nintendo?
Yes.
Okay. It's not a brawler. So do you shoot guns in this game? So a side scroller without shooting guns, but not developed by Nintendo.
You are now 10 questions in.
Wow, that goes fast.
You get through this faster than I do.
I have more experience playing it.
Yeah.
That's okay. Did this game have co-op? Single player side scrolling. Could be Castlevania. That seems too obvious for you to pick that. And why would that be funny? It doesn't have co-op. I was thinking Joe and Mac for a second. That's why I asked that question.
I considered Joe and Mac.
Yeah.
But I figured you'd probably get it on the go-up question.
Yeah, because there's very few co-op.
It seems on brand considering the logo in the background.
Yeah. Good call. Side-scrolling Super Nintendo. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask a developer here to help me narrow it down. Was this developed by Capcom or Konami?
No.
Well, that eliminates a lot of games. It was the developer then. So it wasn't Nintendo, wasn't Capcom, wasn't Konami. Is it a Japanese developer? Well, that eliminates a fuck ton that I just
It
were
does.
thinking about. So an American or potentially European Super Nintendo side-scroller. This is a tough one. Was this a highly rated game, would you say? Like an 8 or higher type of game?
Oh.
This was a bad or average game? Bad or average sides? Okay, now I'm in the weeds. Okay. Was this game licensed? So in other words, was it based on a previously existing franchise or IP? You can look.
No, it's not that I need to look it up.
Okay.
It's that
An odd, hard one to answer.
it's a hard one to answer.
So if it's not possible to answer, then you can decline.
I will answer this.
Okay.
You let me clarify a question last week.
Yeah.
About if you consider racing sports.
Yeah.
I will clarify this for you. It does involve licensing the name of a thing.
Oh,
but
shit.
it is not based on a franchise.
Okay,
it's not that kind of license.
So it's based on a name of some kind.
But it does use the name of something not video game related.
So it could be like Madden or Tony Hawk, or like not specifically those for Super Nintendo, obviously, but like that.
Oh man, Tony Hawk on Super Nintendo, that would have been cool. I guess that's basically the GBA games, isn't it?
Yeah. Shit.
You were 14 questions in.
Okay, I think I might know what it is. Okay.
Yeah, the gears are turning. I knew that was the question that was going to start narrowing it down a lot.
A good game. I don't know if it was notoriously bad, but it definitely wasn't an 8 or higher. Was this based on a soft drink at all?
No.
Oh shit. Okay, I was thinking.
It's not.
I was thinking Cool Spot. Damn it. Okay.
You're at 15 questions.
Shit, so 4 and a guess.
You can. It's totally doable.
I'm right there. I know I'm right there.
Yeah, you're very close.
Its name, Super Nintendo. It can't be a sport. It's a side scroll. See, I'm thinking like a lot of movies, but that would be an obviously licensed game, like Page
Like
Master,
a franchise.
Home Improvement, like Home Alone, all that crap. 'Cause those are bad. Those are obviously licensed. What's a license? Because the name is involved. Someone's name. But no, that was developed by Nintendo. I was thinking Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah, and that's on the NES.
Oh, I thought that was Super Nintendo. Okay.
There is a Super Nintendo Punch-Out, but it does not have Mike Tyson's name attached to it.
Okay. I gotta figure out who this individual is. Who's this person? Is this see, I don't even know if it's a person, but it's gotta be a person. It's like a Tom Clancy. Is the license based off of an actor?
Yes, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
That's a hint, by the way.
So they're either a bad actor or is maybe not considered acting. Side scroller, and that's what's throwing me off is the side scrolling part. No, it's not the license that's throwing me because there's a lot of fucking licensed shit. It's the side scrolling part. Where are we at? 240. Okay, that's not bad. There's people screaming at the.
You have 3 questions and a guess.
I'm trying to think of what would help me like narrow this down. I think I might be in trouble. Single player, side scroller, license based off a actor, bad game on Super Nintendo. Was this game released on or after January 1st, 1995? Early 90s. Man, who the hell? Okay.
We might have a winner here.
I think was he also involved in sports?
Yes.
Is this game Shaq Fu?
You still got 1 question left.
I'm going with Shaq Fu.
Are you sure you want to do that?
I don't know.
Is your final?
Hold on, let me think. There's no one else other than Shaq. Come on. I'm going with Shaq Fu. Is it Shaq Fu?
No.
What? What is this game?
This game is Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City. Remember when I said it's a hint that he's an actor? He was in Space Jam.
Shaq was in... Shit, what was he in? He was in...
Kazam.
Kazam. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Shaq.
But here's where you got tripped up. Shaq Fu was also on the Genesis.
Oh, yeah, this was a Super Nintendo exclusive.
Yep.
Shit. Damn, good pick though.
Yeah.
That's a tough
So,
one, but good pick.
remember how I was laughing earlier because I found out something about this game while
Yeah.
I looked at the Wikipedia page? Do you want to take a guess? This could be a redemption. Do you want to take a wild guess at who was the lead designer for this game? I guarantee you will not answer this correctly. I never would have, not in a million years. It is somebody you know.
I'm just gonna put it out there. Peter Molyneux.
No.
Okay.
Amy Hennig.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, apparently this was not her
Had-
first game, but the first
I was-
game that she designed.
I was gonna say she's not old. She must have been very young at that time.
She must have been. She must have been pretty young.
Damn.
Yeah, it was her first project as the lead designer.
Holy crap! That's
I
crazy.
was sure. So I actually had to think about this a lot. Because there were two questions that I was anticipating. The license was one of them, and that's why I gave you that answer because I thought about it in advance. The other thing was I was worried you were going to ask if it was a sports game,
Mhm.
and I wasn't quite sure how to answer that. And if you had asked that, I would have said it is not a sports game, but it is related to sports
I mean,
because you fight with basketballs in this game.
that still would have kind of led me towards Shaq Fu still though. Like
Mhm.
I wouldn't have been able to.
The reason I picked this is because I wanted you to be on your last question and thinking, is it this or is it Shaq Fu?
Yeah, I mean,
And-
it would have came down to those
Yeah.
two had I remembered the
Yeah.
Chaos in the
And
Windy City.
I did warn you. You had one question left.
Yeah, I know. I figured it was wrong, but I was so.
I was
didn't have
hoping you
anything
would-
left.
I was hoping you would reconsider and go, wait, Shaq Fu was on the Genesis.
Yeah.
But no, hubris got the better of you.
Yeah. No. Well, I just.
Or
Yeah,
just desperation.
I don't know if Chaos in the Windy City would have come to me. I mean, I know it now.
I think we might have played it once.
Yeah.
I think one of us might have rented it and we played it together
Yeah, I remember throwing
just to see
basketballs.
what it was about.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And discovered that, oh, this is stupid.
Yeah, it was
Because it's
really
not a
bad.
good game.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was reviewed. I wasn't going to look it up because I couldn't imagine that it would have been well. This is a game that people would have thought was stupid back in the day.
Yeah.
But yes, Chaos in the Windy
Chaos in
City.
the
What
Windy
a
City.
weird fucking game.
Absolutely. All right. That's 20 questions.
That is 20 questions.
Before I go into the outro, do you have anything else you want to put out there?
No, I decided against bringing in the small amount of internet drama that I looked into. I figured it wasn't worth. I was going to go into a tirade about preservation and reaching out to companies that actively help preserve their stuff, but I figured it wasn't worth going into the weeds on this tiny little flame war that happened on a forum. It's not widespread enough for people to understand. It would have just been a distraction.
And we have a third show coming up that if you ever want to do a scripted,
Oh, yeah.
statement on something like
I could
that,
do that.
we have that. We're going to have that available.
Yeah.
Soon, so keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
Yep.
All right. So my
This
name
was
is
fun.
Yeah, this was fun. This was a good one. My name is TJ Leo. I can be reached at TJ_the_Leo on Twitter.
I'm Andrew. I can be reached at @adninjas on Twitter.
And you can email your questions in to be featured on the show, just like, what was his name? Old Man Legend? Old School Legend? What was
Old
his
School
name?
Legend.
Old School Legend, I think it was. Yeah, Old School Legend. Thank you for being the first
Yes,
letter
thank
time.
you very much.
Yeah, that's
Sir or madam, thank you.
yeah, it was fantastic. And
We
again,
have
good
a
question.
viewer.
We have a viewer. We have subscribers.
Oh,
We do. We have a couple. More than a couple. We're on the road.
hooray.
But you can email your questions to be featured on the show to co.op.podcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet us, and we'll record those.
That was effectively my reaction when you texted me. I was like, woo, engagement.
The engagement is good. Love the engagement. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and if you want to subscribe, click here. And if you missed the last episode of Press Pause, a gaming podcast, it's down here somewhere. Click down there.
That's going to age poorly when YouTube decides you don't get to pick where those go anymore. We're going to force them into certain
just
locations.
random spots it appears.
Yeah, or like when somebody's like, "Hey, turn on the annotations to see the commentary for this video."
Yeah.
Those don't exist anymore.
They're just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all just programmed right into our brains.
Yep.
All right. This has been Press Pause, a gaming podcast. Now get back to gaming.
We out.